right, welcome back to the party, everybody. I'm your host, Lutch, aka The Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Hit that like and subscribe and let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party. Guys, that is the best part, so make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it, I may or may not be going live tomorrow. Just let you know, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. Let's also say thank you to mysickshirt.com. Whatever your persuasion, they've got something for you. And of course, it is the only place to get your very own The Indian Jesus official merch. Only at mysickshirt.com. All right. How is it going? What is going on? We got Trad Guy Travels in the building. We got Melted Mind Media. We got Nick in the building. Welcome. Hope you are doing well as well. So, we obviously we all know the GOP primary debates were a couple nights ago, and so I actually I wasn't sure whether I was gonna do a little bit of a recap or if I was gonna cover Trump on Tucker, and I am still gonna cover Trump on Tucker, but we put out the poll on the community tab, and you guys have decided that you wanted to check out the recap of the debates. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be bouncing around a little bit. So Candace Owens came out with this kind of all-encompassing recap, and she was actually at the debates, but she doesn't have the clips as long as I would like. So what we're going to do is bounce back and forth between what she's saying and get a longer version of the clips that she's talking about. All right. As always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
All right, guys. Happy Thursday. I think you already know what this show is going to be about. As I told you yesterday, I was attending the debates live. What an honor it was. I did not expect them to be nearly as spicy as they were. It was a fantastic time. And of course, what we're going to do is just recap the debates. Who were the biggest winners? Who were the biggest losers? You guys, I think, probably have an indication based on all the press and media today of who won. But I want to go through all the candidates because there were some surprise showings. All that coming up on Candace Owens. Anthony, he's a factory worker. He is just singing a song about the state of things in America and how depressing it is for people that get up every day and go to work. So yeah, I was a bit surprised to see that song was so viral that it made it as the first question for the debate stage. Let's just jog your memory in case you are one of the only individuals in this country who has not yet heard the song. Here's a small clip of it.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just want to have total control. Want to know what you think, want to know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't.
Who doesn't love this song? Shout out to Zippy the Strange in the building. Welcome to the party. We also got John Anthony. Welcome. So can't stay, but will watch to give my support as soon as I can. Thank you very much. So I can't even listen right now, but I just wanted to say thanks for your time. As always, Indian Jesus, nothing but love to you as well, sir. Thank you so much for the kind words.
And it's tax to no end, cause the rich men are the rich men.
So it
actually took me a couple listens to, because I'm not into that kind of music. Very much more into like the folk side of things than country, if anything. But that whole area is just not really my thing. So I kind of just brushed it off for a while. But man, what a banger!
Song has certainly struck a chord in the hearts of Americans and people the world over who just don't recognize their countries anymore. We don't even recognize what we're focused on. We don't even understand if politicians understand why we are so frustrated with DC. We are so frustrated with governance. And it just feels like the little men are being left out. I mean, I could write tons of answers as to how I would have answered the question that was first asked to the candidates, which is, why is this song resonating with so many people in this country? Let's take a listen to what Ron DeSantis had to say when he was asked this question.
And this is kind of a layup. Because you already know that people are eating this song up. So if you can understand why people are eating the song up, all you have to do is speak to that. But as we saw from the debate, some people are a little bit more in touch and some not so much.
So, Governor DeSantis, why is this song striking such a nerve in this country right now? What do you think it means?
Our country is in decline. This decline is not inevitable. It's a choice. We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline.
Now, I mean, I like that answer, but it sounds very robotic, does it not? Like that's the problem with everything that Ron has said. He's saying the right things, but still he just sounds very robotic.
Starts with understanding we must reverse Bidenomics so that middle-class families have a chance to succeed again. We cannot succeed as a country if you are working hard and you can't afford groceries, a car, or a new home, while Hunter Biden can make hundreds of thousands of dollars on lousy paintings. That is wrong. We also cannot succeed when the Congress spends trillions and trillions of dollars. Those rich men north of Richmond have put us in this situation. And finally, we need to lower your gas prices. We're going to open up all energy production. We will be energy dominant again in this country. I showed it could be done in the state of Florida. I pledge to you as your president, we will get the job done, and I will not let you down.
I want to come back to the note. He ends almost everything he says, I will not let you down. Like, oh, what? I wasn't thinking that, but now, you know, putting that into my head. Why are you even saying that? Shout out to Daniel Cabreras. Welcome to the party. And yeah, it's frustrating that he, you know, if he was like 10 years ago, he would have been perfect. Think of before we knew what Trump was going to do. Before we knew who Trump was going to be in office. If it was Trump and DeSantis in 2016 running for the nomination, DeSantis would have won easily, because he's saying all the same types of things. But the notion of, oh, he's using mean words, and that was, you're of a bygone era. Nick says he reminds me of Gore because his stiff robotic manners. Al Gore. I'm like, Gore, what? I'm thinking like some anime thing, but yeah. I mean, that one, that's I wasn't really paying attention to the Gore and Bush stuff, but from what I've heard, same kind of thing. And yes, guys, I did just drop the link for both Trad Guy Travels and Melted Mind Media. Awesome YouTubers. You should definitely go check out links in the chat.
Weird little smile at the end. And I wanted to show his first answer because he's the first candidate on stage that I want to.
Good call out, Ayush. Welcome to the party.
To talk about. DeSantis, obviously, you guys knew what my predictions were going in. I felt that the stakes were the highest for DeSantis and his supporters because, as we had mentioned on yesterday's show, he's falling in the polls. You know, he had this big splash of an announcement, I'm running for president. He was on Twitter. He's got all the donors behind him, and he was polling really high. And then since June, he's lost 10 points, at least according to the Emerson College poll.
And isn't that a shout out to Zippy the Strange with the $5 PayPal? And of course, we got our mascot right here. Of every single super chat comes with a treat for Morty. Thank you, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you. Welcome to David Banner. Said, I'm going to be the small-minded bigot. Do any of you see the same people who were MAGA Trump voters casting their ballot for Vivek? I just don't see it. I do a lot. Actually, yes. I see a lot of people who are like, pretty much in the same camp that I'm in, where I would prefer Vivek over anybody, but I do see realistically that's probably not going to happen, and so I'm very happy to give my vote to Trump. But no, I don't see that, and I do see a lot of people kind of being weary of the fact that he's Hindu, not so much the skin color, but the Hinduism of it. That part maybe could be what we're seeing there. Dave says they also effed Christie with questions they asked him. I mean, Christie could go F himself, you know what I mean? But hey, I'm from Jersey, so I'm already biased against him.
So he had the most to lose last night. So I said yesterday, live on Backstage, that if I'm his team, I'm not sure what my advice is going to be going into the debate. I suggested that actually he might want to stay away from the fire because it could come across wrong and he could actually bleed out more supporters and he could bleed out more donors.
Yeah, and we did see that, as there were there wasn't a lot of anti-Trump rhetoric, but as DeSantis has been running on being more right than Trump, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Zippy says Trump is fun, but only the best choice in a near vacuum. But yeah, Trump will get most of all the polls. I agree. He says in the event Trump gets into legal problems, Vivek is their guy. And selfishly, I kind of do, not realistically, but just in seeing that would really be the only way that Vivek could win. I wouldn't be super unhappy if Trump was taken out, but I do think that even more ideal for everyone would be 4 years of Trump, 8 years of Vivek. But do we ever get what we want? Do we ever get what we want? Let's just get as close as we can, and then at least we can be like, all right.
And that prediction ended up being correct. DeSantis, and I think that you can see that in the clip that I just showed you, the entire night, he just has a problem where he doesn't feel like he's answering from the heart, right? When you just listen to that music, when you listen to that person singing, when you hear him talking about rich men north of Richmond, the reason why it's resonating with the American people is because there is this tremendous sadness. And that sadness, I think, also is going alongside a fear, right? As a mother for me, I would have.
Right. And so this is what I was talking about with they opened up playing the Richmond North of Richmond song. And all you have to do is explain to everybody why we already all like it. And DeSantis didn't do that. David says, okay, again, I'll be the bigot. But Lutch, you're more likely to vote for a brown guy. You think people in Kentucky or Texas want a brown guy named Vivek to be their president? No, I don't. And yes, I'm more likely to vote for a brown guy, just as much as I'm more likely to vote for a woman than someone in who would have those things. I'm not saying that isn't an aspect of the battle that he has to take on. Certainly it is. But I'm just not going to play into that. I don't think identity politics are helpful, whether it's just kind of pointing it out or whether it's making an argument based on it. Maybe. But the fact of the matter is, even if these people in Kentucky and Texas don't want a brown guy named Vivek, if he can show up, if he can say the right things, they will vote for him, assuming Trump's not there. He goes on to say, I think it's DeSantis or die for a lot of the boomers if Trump can't run. Yes, that is very true as of right now. But that's, again, why we continue to follow this stuff, because it is changing, ever changing. I mean, just think about how positively sure we were that DeSantis was going to be the guy. And with one Twitter space, that all disappeared. So a lot can happen. I do think you are correct, but I'm keeping hope alive. Zippy says, Vic is so well-spoken and logical, he'd break the government. Yeah, probably. Shout out to Doodad Attack. Welcome to the party. He says, I think he'll surpass the bigotry. Well, that's just because you're Indian, bro. Oh, shit. I didn't mean to buzz you. I meant to laugh at you. But that's kind of what I'm saying. I agree with you. I do think he'll surpass the bigotry. And that doesn't mean that there's no people who won't vote for him because of his skin color. But I don't know that would be the number one reason why he doesn't win. I think the number one reason he doesn't win is people just like Trump better. That's that. I think it's as simple as that.
Personalize that question instantly. I understand when I hear this song because I don't know what the future is going to look like for my children, right? I'm about to give birth to my third child, and I don't recognize this country as the one that I grew up in.
Right. And so that's kind of what I meant again. And DeSantis wasn't really. Oh, she has this other thing, but he didn't really dig in and speak to that feeling. Like, yes, again, you're saying the right things, but where is the emotion?
We're looking at issues that we've never dealt with. When people are bringing up these issues, people that work every single day, they're being castigated by the media as rednecks, as backwards, because they're aspiring to the American dream. again, I'm just talking to you from the heart. After hearing that song, when I heard it over and over and over again, and as I replayed it, I can hear the sadness in that man's voice. And that's not the answer that I got from DeSantis. That was the first question he was asked. That was his first answer. And he felt to me like a candidate. It felt to me like I was watching a Will Ferrell movie, The Campaign.
That's funny. I forgot about that movie. But yeah, again, all of these things are simply not criticisms of a politician in 2014. These are not criticisms that you would levy at a politician. These are things that you'd say, oh, he's doing great. He sounds like a candidate. He sounds presidential. But we live in a different world.
In fact, this meme started going around of that fake smile he kept doing at the end of every question. Take a look at this.
And I will not let you down.
and yeah, it's just he feels slimier than some of the other people, and they're all slimy. But it's just a little something, and I'm not really sure what it is. And hopefully at some point I'll be able to put my finger on it. Nick says, curious about how everyone sees boomers, because I realize my parents aren't even boomers. My grandma is, but grandpa was before. What age do y'all think of as boomers? So Doodad says 60 plus. And I would probably agree, but in the last 5 or so users ever in the 5 or so past years since the OK Boomer meme has come about, then it's more of a mindset than it is an age. And so when we talk about the boomers, yes, it is people, in their 60s, 50 is pretty young for 50 is definitely a Gen X. But yeah, I would say, in their 60s, maybe even if you are 60 years old, you might fit in with the younger crowd. But it's not 100% about the age. When we talk about Congress and stuff, it absolutely is about age specifically, but there is a lot of the boomer mentality that goes around. Because if you look at it, a lot of the rhinos aren't actually of the boomer generation. They're just they have that mentality. So I says kids of the World War II generation. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're talking about. All right, so let's skip forward a little bit. She pretty much says what I said about DeSantis.
Did, and it was really bad. Take a look.
You all signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
So look at Vivek's hand right in the air immediately. Right, we got DeSantis looking around. Nobody else has their hand up. Then Tim Scott and Nikki Haley go up. This dude, and then right only before Mike Pence. And we're gonna take another look at this, and we're gonna get a better view from another video. But come on, man.
Yeah, he actually, and when you look into that clip and you can zoom in onto it, he looks left and right to see who is raising their hand to kind of judge which way the wind is blowing.
So here's what I want to do. So let's go to the left. Let's go to Kyle Kulinski and Crystal Ball. They have their Crystal and Kyle friends, and I hope I have the right clip. This is the same moment, and I want to see what they say, and then we'll compare it to what Candace is saying, because it's not just about what the candidates are actually saying. It's more so about how people are receiving what the candidates are saying.
Not done with the chaos yet. So now we get to Vivek Ramaswamy and Chris Christie go at it even harder.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, all right. We're not there yet. She's going to say that one next. All right. Let's finish what she has to say with this, and then we're going to get to that part.
And then he raises his very meekly. And what does that suggest? Well, it suggests that the criticisms of DeSantis have not been far off, that he doesn't actually have his own opinions, that he's constantly measuring to see what his donors want. He's measuring public response, but he's not assertive. And that assertiveness is something that you saw across under candidates. Even if you disagreed with them, at least they held a position. So yes, in my opinion, DeSantis was one of the bigger losers of the night because he did not come across as assertive, which is necessary if you are going to lead a great nation.
Yeah, so a lot of people going in were saying that, okay, I like DeSantis, and he just needs to do something to move the needle. And he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't have any gaps. He didn't have any, anything bad happen, but he didn't move the needle. He just didn't move the needle. All right, moving on to Nikki Haley.
Spending. We were talking about COVID spending. We were talking about people that on stage voted, to increase spending when we went through the quote unquote COVID pandemic. And then Nikki Haley kind of turned the tables and she said this.
Why are you better positioned to turn around this economy that we've heard all of these voters talking about tonight than Mr. Ramaswamy, who is a successful entrepreneur nationally right now? He's beating you in the polls.
Well, I don't care about polls. What I care about the fact is that no one is telling the American people the truth. The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us too. When they passed that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill, they left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars. It's not their dollars. And while they're all saying this, you have Ron DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all voted to raise the debt. And Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt. And our kids are never going to forgive us for this.
And I was going to say, she said, I didn't realize she was going to say it right out, but clearly attacking the whole COVID thing is, Trump only really kind of dropped the talking about warp speed only, a few weeks ago? Even a month ago, I was still hearing him talk about, oh, we did the best job. It was the best. Like, bro, we don't care. That's not what you want to run on. And Nikki Haley's always been an anti-Trumper. So I think a lot of, boomers who don't like Trump, they're going to be looking to DeSantis and Haley. And I don't think she's going to go very far. But again, we got to pay attention because we never know.
And so at the end of the day, you look at the 2024 budget, Republicans asked for $7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House.
Round of applause. Honestly, she almost had me on my feet.
Zippy says the Reapers are definitely part of the problem. Well, do executive orders to stop Congress from enriching itself off this what? Well, that's not a full sentence, brother.
Was a Nikki Haley win, a sound answer talking about the spending that, yes, the Republicans are committing. While you're pointing the finger at Democrats, you guys are doing the exact same thing. Look what you've done.
So that's a really big thing. If you're going to be an anti-Trump Republican candidate, and you can speak to the establishment, and you can speak to how Donald Trump aided the establishment, that's going to be big for her. That's going to be big for her.
How much you have committed the future of our children to all of this spending that we can't keep up with. And yeah, it's difficult for people to become introspective and say that we are a part of the problem. So I thought that was her best answer of the entire evening.
Ayush says, DeSantis played it safe. He's learned he can't go against MAGA strongly. Also, go Nikki for bringing that up. Yeah, I agree. But the problem is that he played safe. Yes, it was a bold move to try to attack MAGA from the right. That didn't work. Now that didn't work, you're at a step behind. Now that you're a step behind, you can't play it safe. You should have played it safe to begin with, if that's what you wanted to do, because you are already the front runner, aside from Trump, obviously. You are already at the top of the pack. But now that you're behind, now you need to gain that ground back. Zippy says, but she did not give specifics. She should be saying how she's going to deal with insider trading and such. Again, this is how, when we're judging these opening statements and these announcements that the people are going to run, that's not really what we're doing yet. But next year, this time, this is when they're going to be talking about that stuff. But honestly, I don't really care what Nikki Haley has to say about this stuff because she's not going to make it that far. I want to see the things that the more intangible things that can get people excited about, being involved in politics. That's what the game is right now. I would hope that she has these answers in her head, but these debates, it's about sound bites and nobody cares. Nobody cares about how exactly you're going to deal with insider trading while there's so much other stuff going on. So I agree with you. But we have to remember the optics. What is the point of coming here tonight? What is the point of coming to this debate? Is it for everybody to understand exactly what my platform is? Or is it to get more airtime? Is it to get my face on TV longer? Is it to get people to know my name better? And it's stuff like that that is going to do exactly what they want.
But then guess what happened? You're not going to believe this. Nikki Haley, who delivered that sound answer, who said, absolutely, we've got to decrease spending. It's all of our faults. Well, then Nikki Haley did what Nikki Haley does.
Oh, no.
She became a neocon. We started talking about foreign policy. They started talking about whether or not people on stage would commit to further spending in Ukraine. What? There was only one person who said absolutely not.
And who do you think that one person is? Oh, real quick, we got the our running poll. Replay gang, let me know in the comments below. We have a multiple choice. Who did best in the debate? We have Vivek, we have DeSantis, we have Christie, or you could say other, or if you didn't watch. So out of those, so if you didn't watch, just don't even bother. So Vivek, DeSantis, or Chris Christie, let me know in the comments below.
There's only one person who said that we shouldn't be sending our dollars overseas, and that was Vivek. And Nikki had, well, a bit of a meltdown about the concept of not spending more money in Ukraine, about the concept of not giving more money to Israel. Take a look.
So remember, we want to remember that Nikki Haley is part of the the military industrial complex. She's a warmonger. She's a warmonger.
A win for Russia is a win for China. We have to know that. Ukraine is the first line of defense for us. And the problem that Vivek doesn't understand is he wants to hand Ukraine to Russia. He wants to let China eat Taiwan. He wants to go and stop funding Israel. You don't do that to friends. What you do instead is you have the backs of your friends. Ukraine is the front line of defense. Putin has said, once Russia takes Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. That's a world war. We're trying to prevent war. Look at what Putin did today. He killed Prigozhin. When I was at the UN, the Russian ambassador suddenly died. This guy is a murderer, and you are choosing a murderer over a pro-American country.
So, of course, we obviously are going to be able to see through the propaganda and the fear-mongering of that. But again, the important part here is that was a direct comment about Vivek. It's not about whether we agree with what she's saying or anything. We know that it's just words. It's just words to try to get you on her side. And then when it's aimed at somebody else, it's an attempt to knock them down, to bring them over to that's the game that we're playing. So let's not forget that that's what's going on. Zippy says, Russia can barely afford an army, but you want to support the NATO Nazis and the U.S. commies? Yes, she does. Indeed, she does. Shout out to M169. Welcome to the party. Said it comes off as extremely disingenuous for Haley to complain about COVID spending, then commit to spending more money on Ukraine. Bingo. Yep, and that's exactly what Candace was saying, and neocon's gonna neocon, right? The rhinos are gonna rhino. Unwanted foe, welcome to the party. Good to see you, brother. So we're trying to prevent war by continually getting involved in wars. What? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. But again, this is about how does Vivek respond. Zippy says, so is Bush and Obama. Dude says, we don't need more spending in Ukraine. U.S. already sent them like 2 million supplies, plus a lot of money. I mean, we've already spent almost $3 trillion to them. Yeah, and of course, we are, all of us here tend to be more on the side of, hey, we don't want that money going over there. We don't want to be involved in that. But we have to remember there's a lot of people who just clap for everything that she just said.
First of all.
And so remember, she's saying, hey, this is going on, and Vivek does not have the ability to handle all this. He doesn't have the ability to handle all this. Hey, shout out to Unwanted Foe for the $2 super chat. Thank you. Oh, I'm always going the wrong direction. There we go. Morty, puppy break. Thank you so much, brother. Very much appreciated.
Mr. Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 30 seconds. Mr. DeSantis, Governor
Nikki,
DeSantis,
I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
I'm not on
the fact of the matter,
and
Boeing came off of it, but you've been pushing this lie. You've been pushing this lie all week,
You want
Nikki.
to go and defund Israel? You want to
Okay, let me address that. I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm going
to address each of those right now. This is the false lies of a professional politician. There you have it.
So the problem that I see there is that Vivek is ready to take the debate and actually talk it out. But again, that's not what this night is about. This night is about sound bites. And he had some good ones, but right there, kind of just like that moment's going to get lost, and that's going to be a win for Nikki. Ayush says, playing devil's advocate. Putin's a belligerent warmonger seeking to overthrow all European nations, and Ukraine's their front line. I mean, kinda, right? Kinda.
So the reality
make America less safe. You have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what? The foreign policy experience that you all have shows.
You do not want, when somebody attacks you, when you're answering, for their applause to drown you out. That is no bueno. Shout out to Indie Film. Welcome to the party, brother. Said, didn't watch the debate and also didn't watch the Trump interview. So I checked out the Trump interview, and I'm definitely going to cover it. I'm not sure exactly when, but make sure you are subscribed and you turn your notifications on, because that's going to be an interesting. Welcome to the party, brother. Good to see ya. Doodad said that ladies sound like, if you don't donate to the LGBT community, you're a racist and a fascist.
How dare you?
Pretty much. Pretty much. M169 said that moment just became a shouting match, and frankly, most of us are tired of it. Exactly. So Vivek even said the words. I'm glad that you brought that up. But if you are just going to give some long-winded answer, again, despite the fact that what you're saying might actually be, the perfect thing to say, if it's not going to clip well, then that's what the primary debates are for. That's what they're for.
In the pointless wars we've gotten into, I have to address that. So our relationship with Israel will never be stronger than by the end of my first term. But it's not a client relationship.
They're not even stopping.
It is a friendship. And you know what friends do? Friends help each other stand on their own 2 feet. So I will lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear armed. But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough on crime policies. I love that they have a national identity and an iron dome to protect their homeland. And so, yes, I want to learn from the friends that we're supporting. And what puzzles me is, I want to learn from those and apply those to protect our homeland, Nikki.
Israel needs America. America needs Israel.
Okay.
So, Any Film says, how about we get Russia to join NATO? Now, I don't know if this is meant to be a joke or not, but that would be, I mean, it sounds good. It sounds like, oh yeah, let's bring them into an alliance. But how is that not? And this is coming from complete ignorance, but how is that not moving one step closer to the globalism that none of us want? If everybody's on the same team, like, yeah, that's good for the wars and stuff that we're talking about. But let's not forget about the globalists that want to take over everything. There's different sides to this. So very interesting. But Zippy says it's a start, but the NWO needs something to start wars over. Yep. David said, why is the support of Israel such a big deal? Most Americans don't care. So again, I'm not going to be the best person to answer this, but there's a lot of, foreign aid and military action that goes on in that area. And I think a lot of other allies and people care about what's going on there. So if shit pops off there, that definitely would start a world war, because they are allies, unlike Ukraine. Zippy said it's not aid, it's an addiction. Call him out. And Unwanted Post calling out indie films that he wants to work with a dictator. The media loves those kinds of headlines when their candidate isn't in office. Yeah, that's exactly how they would. That's exactly how they would play it. And so Any Film says NATO was created to fight the Soviet Union, not Russia. That's very true. And I honestly do not know how that would play out. What do you how do you think that would play out? Because we have so many other not so other places where we wouldn't want to ally with them. We other places where we wouldn't want them to do certain things. And if we are, allied with them and they do then invade Ukraine, which is not a NATO country, how does that work out? All right, so there's one more. I think there's one more clip here from Candace that I want to that she's going to show, and then we're going to bounce off a bunch of other people.
Stunning listening to her say that. Israel doesn't need America. America needs Israel. We need to commit billions of dollars to a country that is safer than ours, that a country that has stronger borders than ours, because we need them, is her argument. And yeah, so forget everything she said earlier, because she didn't mean it. What she actually meant was I'm going to talk a big game about COVID spending, which was at least, the very least, spent on the American people. But
good point. I mean, as much as we hate all of that BS, at least it was spent on American citizens.
Don't you dare suggest that we shouldn't be sending billions of dollars overseas. We have to commit it because Vladimir Putin is a murderer. Oh, because what? Joe Biden isn't? Because Hillary Clinton isn't? Because the American government isn't? Are you kidding me? Because NATO isn't? What did we do to Gaddafi? Do you think we're so stupid? Are we so stupid that we buy into this idea that we are running around the world to make other countries more safe? No.
I mean, shout out to Candace. That's a way, it's said way better than I could. And that's exactly it. The neocon establishment line is that, we are still America, the superpower. We need to play world police, all that kind of stuff. And it's just not it's not the way the world is anymore. It's just not the way the world is anymore. All right, let's see what that other, and then she kind of goes on for the rest of it. And then we get to the ChatGPT clip.
To essentially say that he was an Obama 2.0. Take a listen.
Oh, so just so we do remember, this opening line that Vivek uses about a skinny brown kid with a weird name, that is directly a line from Obama. But I saw a lot of things, specifically on TikTok of all places, that people saying that he was plagiarizing. So we're going to end this poll here because we are at 69% Vivek and nobody else. We're split between Vivek and didn't watch. So, and then just went to 71. So let's make a new poll. And I forget what. So did Vivek I don't know how to spell plagiarize from Obama? But I think it was more of a, kind of, hey, look, in the same way that Obama was kind of an outsider like that, I am too. I don't know if it's going to play in this exact thing, but in the secular talk clip, it will.
I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here. And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Come over and give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
Same type of amateur.
All right, so before we go to Candace, let's first, M169 said, not sure how that would work, Russia being in NATO, especially since Russia as a culture is far more traditional than the West is at the moment. I don't know how. I mean, it's not like every NATO country is super westernized. So I don't think that would be the main issue. I just think that there's too many other conflicts. With how we want to spend money, where we want to put military, all that kind of stuff. All right. So then let's go over to this.
Watch this.
If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law.
All right, so we missed that. All right, I'm a little out of sorts, but remember how we saw this before. Let's see what the lefties have to say about, would you still support Trump if he got indicted?
Would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
So again, remember, we're looking at how these people are reacting, these moments in time. And we already know the question. We already know that Vivek's hand goes up, and then Haley and Tim Scott. But I want you to pay specific attention to DeSantis.
Support him as your party's choice. Please raise your hand if you would.
Boom, 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 boom. Looking around and then even this is not even barely at his shoulder. And Vivek is, I'm with it. I'm with it. Hey, I'm there. And it may seem like a minor detail, but guys, people pay attention to these things. These things matter. These things absolutely matter. Zippy said, well, Obama was an empty suit that never said anything like Christie. I mean, we could say that. We could say that. But Obama said a lot of things that spoke to a lot of people, and he won 2 elections. I mean, I'm not here writing for his policies, but I'm saying at this stage in the game, Obama's playbook is probably a good one to look for. Unwanted Foe said, yeah, they act like they're countries for freedom, but their government's actions show otherwise. Yeah, and exactly. So like Turkey isn't NATO; they're an ally, and they're not a westernized country. But I don't think that would be the biggest problem. But specifically you, Indie Film, what do you think would be like? How would that play out if we did want to fold Russia into NATO? Is that possible? How would that look? And yeah, exactly. I mean, look at the difference. Look at the difference. And again, the timing of it.
If you would.
He looks around both sides.
Hand if you would.
Looks to the right, looks to the left. Oh, they're raising their hands. I got to do it too. Oh, no. And then, oh. People notice that stuff. People notice that stuff. Ayush said, Discantus? Discant. It's close. And exactly, M169, body language says a lot. And that is what we're paying attention to. We don't have the time to dig into what they are specifically saying on, a forward-facing thing like this about all their policies. We don't know the details. Yes, you can go on their website and they can do this and that, but we need to hear it from them. But we're just not there yet. Because again, do you care about, I was going to pick one of the guys on the ends, but I honestly don't even know their name. But do you care about Chris Christie's plans on what he's going to do with Ukraine if he's not ever going to be on the next debate stage? So this is what we're looking at. Shout out to the Free Ego. Welcome to the party, brother. Welcome. Zippy says hot air gets you a lot of attention for the popularity contest. Exactly. David Banner said DeSantis looking like a kid on the playground, not wanting to be left out. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And look, if you're not willing to, I forget exactly what the question was, but if you're not willing to support Trump if he gets with all this stuff, fine, stand on that then. You have to pick a side. Unfortunately, we are the days where you can just be bipartisan and, everybody likes me. Those days are gone. Thanos snapped out of existence. You have to pick a side and be strong on that side. It's not enough to be like, oh yeah, I'll do what you guys want, I think. Right? Oh yeah. I mean, come on. Unwanted Foe said, Christie, Pence, and DeSantis were pathetic at that question. Shows weakness and ease of going along with what others say instead of their own plans.
Bingo!
Exactly. We got DeCantis and DeContis. Love it. Nick says, Vivek definitely looked good for being the front runner for the 2028 election. Yeah, I mean, God willing. I don't believe in God, but God willing. You know what I mean? All right, so let's see what the lefties have to say about this little body language interaction.
Just hold on. So just be clear, Governor Christie, you were kind of late to the game there, but you raised your hand.
No, I'm doing this. Look, I'm doing this.
And I know you didn't.
Whoa. No, come.
We know Christie hates Trump because he got thrown to the side. He was a bootlicker. He was licking Trump's a-hole, hoping to be, if not VP, at least a high position in the cabinet. And he ain't happy about it. So he's coming back with a vengeance. ML69 said Vivek is the only candidate to show public support for the BS witch hunt being waged against Trump. Yeah, they're all too scared. They're all too scared. Now, again, Christie and Nikki Haley, they've been about not liking Trump. So again, if that's your position, then stand on your position. But I don't want to see that. You are not a leader. You are a follower. David Banner said, witch hunt, sure, but Trump's hands aren't clean. None of them are. Show me a president that has had his hands clean, and then we can get into clean hands. That's not what we're talking about. All presidents are assholes. All presidents break the law. All presidents are politicians. Exactly, Nick. This is what frustrates me when people and I got caught up in this in 2015 when people would talk about, oh, Trump's filed bankruptcy 11 times, so he's a great businessman. It's like, all right, well, if you know anything about business, then sometimes filing a bankruptcy is a better position than something else, especially if you plan to do that in the first place, because then you sack the government with all the debt instead of taking it on yourself. I'm not saying that's a good thing. That's why when I was on LFR Family, when I was talking to Van, and I said, I don't want to have a drink with him. I don't want to bring him over my house. And he's like, why wouldn't you want him in your house? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm just saying I'm not riding for him in that way. I'm riding for Trump in the sense that he is the best president that this country has ever had, or at least in my lifetime. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to find a friend. I'm here to find a leader.
Look, here's the bottom line. Someone's got to stop normalizing this conduct. Okay? Now,
too late, brother. Too late.
Now, whether or not you believe that the criminal charges are right or wrong, the conduct is beneath the office of President of the United States. And this is the great thing about this country. Booing is allowed, but it doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change the truth.
Oh, people don't like you. So let's break that up, because I think there's two parts here that they're going to address. Zippy says lesser of evils. Morale may improve if the beatings continue.
What?
You says funniest ish I saw today. The DOJ is suing Musk's SpaceX for not employing illegal immigrants. What? We're gonna have to look into that one for sure. Nick said he killed Clinton with being honest about using the system. She tried to act like she didn't, but we knew better. Yes, sir, we did. Daniel says, do you think Christie said the same thing when he shut down that bridge? This conduct has to end. No, of course not. He was sitting on the beach, and I will never forget that image. Remember, I'm from Jersey. Luckily, I didn't get, caught up in all that. But this is not, this is not a guy that you want to have a beer with. You might think, okay, he has political pull. He's willing to do, even if with the bridge thing. You could say, okay, he's willing to do, bold things. I don't really accept that, but fine. But being wishy-washy is not going to work. Shout out to DJ Isolated. Welcome to the party. Said, what's the haps? Not much. Just checking out the debates from this week. How are you? Welcome to the party.
I'd like to get in and respond. Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Chris Christie, honest to God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man. Want to see a bunch of people blindly bashing Donald Trump without an iota of vision for this country, they could just change the channel to MSNBC right now. But I'm not running for president of MSNBC. I am running for president of the United States. We're skating on thin ice. And we cannot set a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization of justice.
Yeah. Where's the outrage for that type of conduct? Where's the outrage for that type of conduct? It's not like what Trump's being indicted for is worse than what other presidents have done. Yes, it was illegal. Presidents should not be above the law. But guess what? They are. They are. So you can pretend that that's not the case, or we can deal with reality. So yeah, I wanted to get this one. Daniel said Chris Christie is the American Augustus Gloop. Spot on, spot on. Great punching bag. Always has been. And 169 said it was an epic smackdown of Christie. David said that hurt, didn't it, fat man? A little bit. Shout out to David. Welcome to the party. So that's literally what Trump has run on for the better part of a decade. Well, that's the beauty of Trump, is that he is Trump. I mean, I think you were right behind me on that LFR stream where we found each other, and I was saying, when it comes to like if Vivek and Trump were in the same legal trouble, that Trump would skate. And Vivek maybe would be able to weasel his way out of whatever and talk his way out of certain things. But Trump just has that X factor that he's just Trump. There's just some things that Trump is, I mean, exactly. It's beautiful when Trump does it. I'm not sure if you're being a little bit sarcastic. I know you're a lefty over here, but it's a thing that cannot be replicated. It's unique. And that is what caught the attention of so many people. And, even as a never Trumper starting out, that's what I didn't get. I was looking for the DeSantis type people. I mean, on the left as well, but I was looking for the presidential person. But what I hadn't realized is that the moment Trump came down those golden escalators, that world that we knew exploded. It disappeared. It is gone. And we are now in a new era of politics. Yep, exactly. M169 says he's the Teflon Don for a reason. I figured it was sarcastic. That's why he deserves to be held accountable for unprecedented actions against the American people. And again, if we are taking down presidents, okay, I'm with you. Let's go after Biden. Let's go after Obama. Let's go after Trump. Let's go after Bush. Let's go after all of them. But if we're not looking to change that precedent, then why Trump over everybody else? It's just there is no answer to that. There is no answer to that. David Banner says Trump just has the juice, man. I'm a Canadian with no dog in the fight, but no other candidate in my lifetime has captivated the country like he has. And I mean, don't say that you don't have a dog in the fight. Certainly, American politics affect the rest of the world. But I hear what you're saying, and yeah, it's just captivating is just a fantastic way to say it. Zibby says, well, Trump was a Democrat longer than a Republican, so Trump should run on the left. That would be insane. That would be insane. Can you imagine? Because a lot of the MAGA voters don't really care whether it's an R or a D or it's red or blue. They're Trump. So if he put the D next to his name, I think that a lot of people would vote for him. I don't think he would win, but you never know. You never know. That would be insane. Ayush says Trump just doesn't play your game of snakes and ladders. He brings his own game of I'm right because I'm charming. Yeah, and for 99.9% of the people on this earth, that won't work. But for Trump, it does. Come on, bro. We're gonna pretend that other presidents didn't commit crimes. Come on. Oh, we can. Burisma, what is his name? Abdul al-Awlaki. I bet I should know the name, but the American citizen, the 16-year-old American citizen that Obama blew up with a drone strike. Unwanted Vote said Vivek seems to be trying to blend Obama and Trump traits into his methods, starting out humble, yet being loud, bold, and stalwart in his convictions. I like that. As much as people hated Obama's policies, you can't deny the fact that people who weren't into politics loved Obama. Why? Because he made them feel something. He spoke well. He spoke in a way that got people to pay attention to what he was saying at that moment, not to pay attention in general, which was, likely the intention. But it's that factor, that X factor. DJ Isolated said Trump's narcissism happens to align with America's best interest. Ooh, I love that. I love that. And I was thinking about this earlier today. Is exactly why I wouldn't want Trump in my house. Exactly why I wouldn't want to go have a beer with Trump. That he is a narcissist. He is a piece of shit. He is a bad guy. But it happens to align with America's best interests. Well said, sir. M169 said we never did care. We knew who he was. He knew the only path to the White House in 2016 was running as a Republican. Yep. Shout out to Ziggs. Welcome to the party. So did you peep when Mike Pence does the people's eyebrow? No, I didn't see that. If you got a link, definitely drop that in the Discord. I would love to see that. Zippy says, well, he may not gain the primary. He'd show a good game on the left, but he could win as an independent. He is Trump after all. Yeah, definitely. All right, so I do want to actually get to what these lefties here are saying about all that.
In this country. 30 seconds covered in second.
Let me tell you something.
I'm sorry. 30 seconds covered.
You make me laugh because you sit here in an answer. You sit here in an answer. Right.
Damn. Those aren't cheers, guys. Those are not cheers.
You sit here in an answer.
Go ahead, Governor Christie.
Hold on, Governor Christie.
Hold on.
So listen, the more time we spend doing this, the less time they can talk about issues you want to talk about. So let's just get through this section.
True, David. True.
All right. So the fact of the matter there.
So one thing I did want to, peanut butter sandwich. One thing I did learn after the fact that it was a lot of younger people in the crowd. But people were saying, the moderators did a good job and they seem to handle that well. And typically you don't want to hear anything about the moderators. So the fact that I haven't heard much of negativity about them, that seems to be a good thing. All right. What do they think?
There is Vivek won that exchange handily.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Which sucks. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
on substance,
like
he's terrible, but yes.
I want to give Christie a lot of credit. He's in a room full of snakes. He's at everybody around him doesn't agree, except maybe Asa half agrees with him.
Mhm.
Everybody on stage disagrees. Everybody in the audience seemingly disagrees. And to go into the lion's den and really be like, no, you're wrong. I respect that. But I will say, I also think his argument was kind of weak. He soft pedaled it a lot more than he normally does. Like he said, we need to stop normalizing this conduct. Whatever you think of the charges, this conduct is not presidential. He said something like that.
And again, I agree with that, but that's not how we've been doing things. So if you want to change things, then you can say, okay, we're going to change things. And for now, we're going to prosecute a candidate. But we never did that before. So let's just not pretend that that's not what's happening. Where were we? Ayush said Trump's biggest contribution is shocking the system and bringing people to pay attention to politics. Before him, most people were fine with getting effed by politicians as a part of life. Exactly. 100% agree.
And it's nah, man, this isn't about conduct. This is about being a criminal. There's 91 criminal charges against Trump.
Right.
And the point I've made over and over is I haven't seen a single Republican who defends Trump go charge for charge. Here's why this one is BS. Here's why this one is BS. Here's why this one is BS. I explain to you why all of them are BS. A reasonable.
Decent point. I think a lot of that has to do with rejecting the idea that this is a political witch hunt in the first place. But hey, I would like to see that. I would like to see that. Somebody who has a legal mind, a political mind, go through all these things and show exactly why. What is the issue with every single one of the 91 counts and see what we're really dealing with. Because I don't know if they're 91 trumped up charges, pun intended, or if there's 90 bullshit ones and one that's actually pretty. It's really hard to tell because of how politicized this really is.
Conservative might be able to say, yeah, I looked through all the charges. Okay. I think some of them are nonsense. I can explain that, but I found 8 of them I think are legit. Like, that's a serious person going through it and saying, I have some slight disagreements. To hand wave away the 91 crimes and not give any specifics on any of the charges strikes me as, honestly, stupid. Like, it is idiotic. It is really, really dumb. So I give him credit for standing up in the line stand, but honestly, this was, I think, one of Christie's worst exchanges in terms of it didn't land, and he sort of soft-pedaled it, and he left the door open for Vivek to be like, I will coddle Trump's balls. I will massage them gently every night.
Right.
It was like, massage Trump's balls, yeah! Coddle his ball sack,
Yeah.
So that's essentially, what they're saying. So let's go back to this, not exactly the same moment, but what Candace has to say about their exchange. Zippy says, give the Republicans and the FBI, give the Republicans the FBI, and they can find more on Biden. Yup. Wanted Vogue said, but somewhere on LawTube, there's someone who went through it. Well, hey, I would be happy to go through that. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so I would just have to go based on what they're saying. But I would be interested to see what an actual lawyer thinks of each individual charge. I think that's completely fair. Because if there is like the strategy now is, well, there's 91 counts. They can't all be fake. Well, yes, they can. They absolutely can. And in America, you are innocent until proven guilty. And so I think what Kyle just said about having somebody go through and actually go through each of the charges would do a lot for Trump. And I mean, I don't know. Does it say something about the indictments, the charges, that nobody really has done that on a larger scale? I don't know. Since Kyle is a trad wife, I mean, he's a little bit of a boss babe, if anything. But I feel Ayush says Kyle has it out for Vivek from the start. Crystal is sort of mellowed down since her interview with her. Vivek asked on Bill Maher's show what crime he committed, and he had no answer. Yep. I mean, so far there's a lot with, how Vivek made his money and, whether everything that he did was super above board. And again, I assume that if you're running for president, that there's some BS in your past. You don't get on that stage by being a nice person. It doesn't happen. So we're not judging these. Well, we shouldn't be judging these people in the same way that you judge your friends and your family in life. This is a different category of people. It would be nice. It would be nice if we could judge these people based on that. But because of generations of, I'm going to go with the lesser of two evils, we've gotten here. So we can't do that. Once it follows, so that bleached and over gelled hair on a guy looks greasy. He belongs in 2000. And Zip Me the Strange said Trump's mugshot is going to win him the election. I mean, what a better way to spin that. Or what would be a better way to spin the fact that you are running for president and you have a mugshot, but bringing that to be your return to Twitter. I mean, love him or hate him. Love him or hate him. That is PR genius. PR genius. Nick says today, the first judge said he is immune from everything. Even if there's something in it, it doesn't matter. The law does. I don't really know what that means. All right. So let's see. Yeah, let's see what Candace has to say about all this.
Yeah, so there's something about Chris Christie calling somebody Chat GPT, saying that he reminds him of Barack Obama. He actually was, as I said, cosplaying Trump, somebody that he claims to hate. But there's a layer of affection in his hatred towards Trump. I think he actually envies Trump, and he was trying to be funny. And he's like, I hate that guy. That conduct. I wish I could get away with that. But the conduct. Trying to be the person that people took away and said, oh, he was just so funny, and it just didn't work out for him, especially when Chris essentially said that Trump, or at least implied rather, that Trump should be indicted, all of these ridiculous indictments, simply because he doesn't like him, right? He didn't point to a crime that Trump committed, but he agreed and thought that Trump should be indicted anyways, which is a remarkable position for somebody to take on.
Remember, I'm always looking for new mods. Do mod stuff.
On stage. And so, yes, he was booed, the most roarish boo of the entire evening, which actually required the hosts to get involved. Those boos were for Chris Christie. Take a listen.
You sit here in an answer. You sit here in an answer right.
Hold on one second.
You sit here and answer.
Go ahead.
And see, even if you're getting booed like that, you gotta roll through it. Just say, and getting the looking to the moderators. It's like looking to the teacher. Like, come on, bro, just go through it. When Nikki Haley and Vivek were going back and forth, you just bowled right through it. You have to be a leader.
Governor Christie.
Hold on, Governor Christie.
Hold on.
Well, so listen, the more time we spend doing this, the less time they can talk about issues you want to talk about. So
yeah, I completely agree, Frigo. People need to stop focusing on the palatability of candidates and get in someone like Vivek and to cut through the BS and get to the heart of the issues. 100% agree.
let's just get through this section.
Yes, Chris Christie should not be on the next debate stage. His campaign honestly ended. If it ever was a campaign, it ended with his attacks on Vivek for saying that even if he thinks what Trump did was wrong, wrong is not illegal, which is the correct take to have. You cannot be using the Department of Justice to go after people simply because you don't like them. It's a dangerous precedent to set. Chris Christie somehow disagrees, but something that he did very much agree on, and what Pence agreed on, and what, as I just showed you, Nikki Haley agreed on, was that we all must support Ukraine. The money must go overseas, or else Vladimir Putin bad. The USSR will rise again.
Yeah, and obviously, we already talked about that part. But notice the difference in how Candace sees the clips. And again, she was there, so it's not like she's just seen that clip. She watched the whole thing. And she's not really talking about the same issues. She doesn't see it in the same way that Crystal and Kyle do. So it's great to have different perspectives on this, because that's what these debates are. They are trying to win favor. They are not trying to express the best ideas, as they should be. That's not what they are. It's theater, and it's meant to get people on your team.
Take a listen.
And I went to Ukraine because I wanted to see for myself what Vladimir Putin's army was doing to the free Ukrainian people. And let me tell you, I want you all to look around this arena tonight and imagine that every one of these seats was filled. And if every one of them was filled, there would still be 2,500 more children outside to make over 20,000 who have been abducted, stolen, ripped from their mothers and fathers, and brought back to Russia to be programmed to fight their own families. They have.
I mean, I know that we're not completely just assessing what they're saying on policy-wise, but there's a lot of children in America who are going, not exactly that, obviously, but having their lives ruined from a multitude of different things. Spare me on the Ukrainian children. I'm sorry. I am not in the position to care about Ukrainian children before American children. Zippy says Ukraine was not free. It was controlled by NATO and U.S. commies. Melted Mind Media said, it started echoing, so he had to drop you from the stream. Headphones, brother, you know this. Come on. That's right. At least now that he saw you, you'll be more likely to get up there in the future. And next time I go up there, I'll give you a little shout out, push my little weight around. It's little in real life and it's a little on YouTube, but I can use it nonetheless.
Gouged out people's eyes, cut off their ears, and shot people in the back of the head, men, and then gone into those homes and raped the daughters and the wives who were left as widows and orphans.
So yeah, an emotional plea. He was trying to move the room by talking about the crimes that are taking place all the way in Ukraine and in Russia. And that was something that was of more significance to him and for everybody else on stage than what's taking place in our own country. The lie that these neocons kept selling was that we can do both. We can take care of what's happening in Ukraine by sending them supplies, by sending them armor, by sending them machines, and sending them billions and billions of your taxpayer money while we take care of America.
I mean, theoretically, we could if we had a better culture, but we don't, so we can't.
And that's obvious. Obviously, what's going on with Maui, you can see, oh, wait, no, we don't do that. Well, it's obvious by how our inner cities are thriving. Oh, wait, they aren't thriving.
Nope.
So no, we actually cannot do both. It's a answer that was delivered over and over again by people that are benefiting from the military-industrial profit. They are. The complex is profiting them directly. And Pence, who, by the way, I want to be clear, Pence performed well yesterday evening. No, I think he was the person that nobody expected to be so fiery. And he was stronger than I think I've ever seen him on stage. He was focused, and he kept going for the jugular with Vivek. But then, of course, him too. He gave all of himself when it came to Ukraine with an emotional plea for Americans. Take a listen.
All right, so let's see this.
If we do the giveaway that you want to give to Putin to give him his land, it's not going to be too long before he rolls across a NATO border. And frankly, our men and women of our armed forces are going to have to go and fight him. I want to let the Ukrainians fight and drive Putin and the Russians back out into Russia.
Before we get to that response, shout out to Melted Mind Media with the $5 super chat. Let's get you right over. Oh, what? Sorry. Wait. Right over here. Here. Eat it. Yummy. Oh, you feeling bad? He doesn't want it, but it's gonna be right here. I bet you're gonna see him pop up and take it. But thank you, sir. Yeah. Always the worst moments, right? Always at the worst moments. You saw it with. You guys saw what happened with me and Peter Boghossian. Don't worry about it, brother. You'll definitely get there. But yeah, the idea of Pence being strong, I think she was trying to be a little bit sarcastic there, because she's certainly not on board with sending all this stuff. So I think there was a little bit of sarcasm there. Nick says Mike Pensive. I like that one. Nick says, you humble me, bro. Thanks for your trust. You might need to explain a few things, but thank you for the confidence. No problem, brother. All I need is for you to do exactly what you've been doing. Just remind people to like and subscribe and all that stuff. Whenever I put up the banner here, just drop the Discord link and ask people to follow. That's all I need. Thank you.
Address Pence, Vice President Pence. I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore. It fell back in 1990.
Vivek, that is correct. If you believe that the biggest threat to America is the non-existent USSR, it's because you're an idiot. I want you to punch yourself in the face for being stupid. That's
Got him. So let me just make sure I got my shit in order. All right. So then we were talking about Nikki Haley, and obviously it's not one-to-one because they didn't, coordinate their things. But same kind of thing that we saw with Nikki Haley, and let's see what.
All right, so we got one more video that I want to share with you.
Okay.
We're coming back to the theme of heated debate. This time it involves Nikki Haley and Vivek. Watch this.
Governor Haley, you did not raise your hand, meaning that you would support more funding for the Ukraine war. You have said of Governor DeSantis that you didn't appreciate it when he initially called it a territorial dispute. Why?
First of all, the American president needs to have moral clarity. They need to know the difference between right and wrong. They need to know the difference between good and evil.
Fair.
When you look at the situation with Russia and Ukraine, here you have a pro-American country that was invaded by a thug. So when you want to talk about what has been given to Ukraine, less than 3.5% of our defense budget has been given to Ukraine.
3.5% is a lot. That's a lot of money. 3% of the entire defense budget? Or 3.5%? Come on. And 169 said the lie that our troops aren't already fighting over there ticks me off. It may not be our standard units, but people are indeed fighting in Ukraine. And this is something that I've heard for at least a month, at least maybe a little bit more. And people are saying, because there hasn't been an official declaration of war or anything, that it's not happening. And this is why I don't necessarily dive too much into geopolitics, because I'm comfortable saying I don't know where you find this information. I don't know who you trust to talk about what's going on in Ukraine and Russia that doesn't have some sort of pro-Ukraine or pro-Russia tinge that at least I'm not capable enough to tell the difference. But yeah, like Nick says, you got it. Zivy says, I feel she means that Pence was mostly sound on his statement, except for Ukraine and Israel. Okay, that makes sense too. Russia is just as bad or good as any other first world nation. I mean, on the level of oppression is the same as Australia and Canada. Yeah, again, I don't know. I don't think that oppression is really like if we're talking about Iran or some African countries, then the idea of oppression, I don't know that that's really the case. I think it's more about, again, just our interests, and our interests are so conflicting that that's what makes them their enemy, our enemy. It's not we're enemies because we decided, oh, you're bad, so therefore, but we have conflicting interests. Free Ego said Ukraine is not pro-American. They damn well should be. You said pro-American because we installed the government. Exactly. Melted Mind Media said Chick has gotten a lot of work done on her face. Be nice, be nice. She could be your next president. And she is an Indian American as well as Vivek. Zippy said Ukraine is a regime installed by the U.S. to spy on Russia and hide Biden's crap. Bingo. Yup. And 169 said RFK's son went to fight for Ukraine. Really? Really? So that's interesting. Interesting. So Zippy says Ukraine is Iraq 2.0. David says, how so? If I had to guess, it's a lot more about the ancillary reasons that we say we're there, as opposed to the reasons that we're there, and no plans of getting out. That's what it seems to me. Ayush says declaration of war hasn't happened since World War II. They're called military actions. Yep, that's why I say we're already in World War III. Zig says they spent more on Ukraine in 20 years. They spent more on Ukraine in 20 years than a 20-year Afghan war. Wow, that's too much. Shout out to Grape Drink. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya. Zig says more in Ukraine in 2 years. Okay, that I was like, I thought that's what you meant. So they spent more on Ukraine in 2 years. In 2 years than 20 in the Afghanistan war. It's too much. It's too much. That's how it's Iraq 2.0. Just money that we don't need being spent, thrown away to people who likely, if history is any predictor of the future, likely will be people that want to fight us in the very near future.
If you look at the percentages per GDP, 11 of the European countries have given more than the U.S. But what's really important is go back to when China and Russia held hands, shook hands before the Olympics, and named themselves unlimited partners. A win for Russia is a win for China. We have to know that. Ukraine is the first line of defense for us. And the problem that Vivek doesn't understand is he wants to hand Ukraine to Russia. He wants to let China eat Taiwan.
Again, I'm trying so hard not to jump in and give my opinions on what she's saying, but that's not the point that we're here. We want to see how they respond.
Wants to go and stop funding Israel. You don't do that to friends. What you do instead is you have the backs of your friends. Ukraine is the front line of defense. Putin has said, once Russia takes Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. That's a world war. We're trying to prevent war. Look at what Putin did today. He killed Prigozhin. When I was at the UN, the Russian ambassador suddenly died. This guy is a murderer, and you are choosing a murderer over a pro-American country.
And so that's where the lie is. You're choosing a murderer over a American country, or American whatever country. Like, no.
First of all, Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 30 seconds. Mr. DeSantis,
Nikki, I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
I'm not on
but
the
fact of the matter, Boeing came off of it. But you've been pushing this lie. You've been pushing this lie all week, Nikki.
You want to go and defund Israel? You want to
okay, let me address that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to address each of those right now.
See, that's again what I mean. I'm going to address those right now. Instead of saying I'm going to address them, you need a what do they call it? A snap back. You need to snap back to reality, bro. You need to shut her up with a soundbite. We know that you can explain it, we know that you can explain it. But the people who are watching who don't know you, this is all they know of you. So, well, let me sit down and explain that to you. They don't want to hear that. They want snappy answers. Ayush said, recent Joe Rogan with Dave Smith, shout out to Dave Smith, was so good on the Ukraine conflict. It's too long for live coverage commentary, though. Maybe someone can clip up some important bits. Maybe. I did see one earlier on today, and I love Dave Smith. Oh, that is my guy. Unwanted Foe said, such a crazed warmonger. Her entire demeanor changed once she started talking war. That's where she gets the big bucks. Melton says, Black Rock Nikki up in the building. Zuby says, and NATO and the NWO is trying to invade Russia, you crazy woman. David Banner says, with the new Cheeto Vera picture, like it, said 75 billion so far sent to Ukraine versus 2 trillion spent on Afghanistan. So it's not even close yet, but trust me, they want it to be. They want it to be. And so I guess then to respond in place of Ziggs, what was spent in the first 2 years of the Afghanistan war? That would be what we want to understand, because that's, you know, that's how it would track the progression. All right, let's back this up a little sec.
You've been pushing this lie all week,
You want
Nikki.
to go and defund Israel? You want to
Okay,
give
let me
Taiwan
address
to
that. I'm
China?
glad you brought that up.
Go and give
I'm going to
Ukraine
address
Russia?
each of those right now. This is the false lies of a professional politician. There you have
Under
it.
your watch,
So the
you will make
reality is,
America less safe. You have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
and you know what? The foreign policy experience that you all have shows in the pointless wars we've gotten into. I have to address that. So our relationship with Israel will never be stronger than by the end of my first term. But it's not a client relationship. It is a friendship. And you know what friends do? Friends help each other stand on their own 2 feet. So I will lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear armed. But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough on crime policies. I love that they have a national identity and an iron dome to protect their homeland. And so, yes, I want to learn from the friends that we're supporting. And what puzzles me is, I want to learn from those and apply those to protect our homeland, Nikki.
Israel
that is the
needs
answer.
America. America needs Israel.
Okay,
They
Governor
are the
DeSantis.
All right, so let's see.
Yeah. So
let's see what the lefties have to
this was
say.
the part of the debate where, and this wasn't the beginning of it, but this was like kind of in the middle of it, where for a really long time, I think Vivek was kind of freaking it, and he was very skillfully able to like deflect. I think like Pence did a pretty poor job going after him, and Vivek handled that really well. And even the stuff he said when it wasn't in direct confrontation of people early on in the debate, I thought it landed. He was certainly more charismatic than other people there.
Yeah.
But then like the second half of the debate, there was a lot of this going on where I think he lost this exchange. Whatever you think on the substance of it, I think he lost the exchange. And I think the number one reason for that is Nikki Haley is a neocon, no doubt about it. But man, she really believes it. She's really drunk the Kool-Aid, and you could tell she's like passionate in thinking that he's dead wrong.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing
I can agree with that.
After she hits him with all these allegations, he kind of semi concedes a little bit. So she does the whole like, you want to stop funding Israel. And he goes, false, which is like, that just feels to be like, of course I do. And I want to give that money to Compton. You know what I mean? Like you hit him with something like that, which he was.
Exactly. You need the soundbite.
Was doing earlier in the debate, but it's almost like the attacks were so relentless by this point that he started like meeting people halfway. He had that one good line about you're on the board of Raytheon and Lockheed Martin or whatever.
That was a good line, but I like that analysis that he kind of, because he was the guy and everybody knows he's the guy. Aside from DeSantis, I don't know if he had one exchange with another person throughout the whole debate. But all guns were fired at Vivek. So maybe, it just kind of Backstreet Boys Reject has a good point. Yeah. I agree.
Which I think was a good line. It wasn't delivered perfectly, but it was still a good line. And then he goes on like responding to the attack. Our relationship with Israel will never be stronger than in my first term, and I'll make sure Iran isn't nuclear armed. And I love Israel's ethno-state. It's phenomenal.
Right. Then he's like, you know what I love about Israel? The apartheid. And
Exactly.
Like horrific treatment of Palestinians, basically. So I agree on this exchange. I thought this is his weakest moment. I thought Nikki Haley, this is why I think she'll go up in the polls. This is part of why I think she'll get another look from donors.
She was strong.
Because she handled him better than anyone else did in the whole time.
No doubt.
And
so let's take that point that Nikki Haley did the largest damage in one exchange to Vivek. Do you guys agree with that? Because I mean, it's I hard to I find it hard to kind of disagree with that. Yeah, I don't know if handled is a strong word. Handled is a strong word, but that does seem to be his weakest moment and her strongest moment. So let's see if they go back into this. So all right, then let's go to where he originally Chris Christie was originally calling him Chat GPT.
All right, so now let's get to the next video. This one is like, honestly, it's like a 3-for-1 or a 4-for-1. This is packed in a pretty short time frame here. This is like packed with a bunch of amazing moments. Take a look.
Polls consistently show that young people's #1 issue is climate change. How will you, as both President of the United States and leader of the Republican Party, calm their fears that the Republican Party doesn't care about climate change?
So we want to start on this with a show of hands. Do you believe in human behavior is causing climate change? Raise your hand if you do.
Look, we're not school children. Let's have
We got a little raise over here.
the debate. I mean, I'm happy to take it to start. Alexander.
There you go, DeSantis. That's what you need. That leadership quality.
Do you want to raise your hand or not? I don't think that's the way to do. So let me just say to Alexander this. First of all, one of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said no comment.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about that?
Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You've got to be there. You got to be present. You got to be helping people who are doing this. And here's the deal.
Let's just answer the question.
So is that a yes? Or is that a yes? Is that a hand raise?
You do not.
I think it was a hand raise for him, and it's my hands are in my pockets.
No. I didn't
Said my hands are in my pockets. Sorry about that. Belton My Media just added you to the banner, co-sponsor with Zippy DeStrange. He should be out there because he got the PayPal, but I love you guys equally. So thank you.
As Republicans, I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this.
There you
the
go.
climate change agenda is a hoax.
Why did you stop? Why did you stop? It was perfect. I'm the only one who's not bought and paid for, so listen again. That could have been the quote of the night. That could have been the quote of the night, but he let it slip through his fingers.
I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax. And we have to declare independence for it. And the reality is, the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy.
So let me ask you guys, what do you think they were, and we'll play it again, but they were booing there. So but there was 2 points that Vivek was saying, and he was already, they were already booing when he said climate change is a hoax. So I think what the booing was for him saying that everybody else is bought and paid for. Well, let's see. I want to know what you guys think, and we'll get some comments.
So I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda.
I don't know.
Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this.
So that's where we would expect the boos, but we don't hear anything until the other candidates.
The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax. And we have to declare independence for it. And the reality is,
I don't know. I think I need a poll from you guys. What were they booing? The climate change thing or the bought and paid for? What do you think? Let me know. All right, where are we with these comments? Yeah, I'm on M169 saying she pushed back more effectively than the others and she got under his skin. Yep. Zippy says to M169, you mean shout out outshouted him. Typical crazy woman talking. I don't know. I don't agree with that. That's yeah, I mean they're all yelling over each other. I don't feel like that's necessary there. Unwanted foe saying DeSantis finally woke up. Call him Sleepy Joe. Frigo said that wasn't pushback. That was literally just political. La 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 la. Fair enough. David Banner said climate change has been affected by humans for sure. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that it's reasonable to say that it's a hoax. Is the way that it's talked about, obfuscated like every other issue? Absolutely. But I don't understand what the line of thinking of 100 years of pouring carbon into the atmosphere, how that doesn't change the atmosphere. Am I saying that we all should be, buying electric cars and making sure you don't have a gas stove and all that shit? Absolutely not. But that doesn't mean that carbon doesn't do things to the air. And if we ever want to be taken seriously, I don't know that the climate change is a hoax line really is going to help anybody. Ayush says, if you buy her premise that, talking about Nikki Haley, if you buy her premise that Ukraine policy is the only option, then she seems to have damaged him. But if you're living in the real world, her attacks were inconsequential. Fair enough. But again, we have to remember these are the majority of people who are going to be affected most by these debates are the people who are not paying attention, who are just listening. Oh, you said a thing? Well, you're in a suit on TV, so it must be right. Yeah, holding their ears. Let's see. Yeah, everybody's agreeing with Zippy. Yeah, exactly. Zippy says he's not wrong. Many are brainwashed by the climate cultists. The first boo for David Banner says the first boo for Vivek came from the Republican about climate change. People believe that we affected the climate. This is the GOP debate. Well, and that's why I'm a little bit confused, because I thought that was like, oh, based, it's a total hoax. That's what I would expect. But if they're booing that, then how? What would you want them to say about climate change? You know what I mean? I don't get it. Any Film says, I think they're booing the guy that is trying to butt in, saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. That makes sense. Let's take a look at that. Let's see if that.
Say, I think, be honest, as Republicans, I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this.
No booze yet.
The climate change
No booze yet.
Is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a.
I think Indy's got it. Them trying to. So, and if that's the case, I mean, obviously, hindsight's 20/20. But I'm the only one who's bought and paid for. And they're like, whoa. You're not bought and paid for? You're not, these person didn't donate to your thing, that. That's what you have to do in situations like this. That's what Trump would have done. And that's the only reason that we're talking about how well Vivek did. Because Trump wasn't there. Let's not forget that. And I'm speaking as somebody who would prefer to have Vivek as president than Trump. The only reason we're talking about how well Vivek did is because Trump wasn't there. Ayush said they are super PACs sitting in the crowd, like Trump said in 2016. So there are a lot of donors in the front, but the YAF, Young America Foundation, that's most of the crowd. So they're the youngins. Unwanted Foe said any professional politician is bought and paid for. Not Trump, not Vivek. They got their own money. Now, I'm not saying that they're not getting money and they're not being lobbied and stuff like that. But there's a big difference between somebody who is completely bought and paid for and somebody who is, just taking extras because they can. Zippy thinks they were booing the climate change as a hoax. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm with Indie Film. I think he's got it. Daniel said neither. It was them arguing about they're not bought and paid for. Okay, so now we got two on that side. I like that. I'm with that. Frigo says they were booing the other debater interjecting. All right, that's 3. You guys got it. Zippy says if a warmonger is not crazy. Okay, so remind me when you do this, then I'm gonna. All right. Unwanted Foe said, I think the booing is for the bought and paid for. There's some people who believe their candidate is working for the people, unlike the others. Wow. Okay. So you guys saw right through that. That I was confused, but clearly you guys are all in agreement. What well, we do also, actually, maybe not, because, we got the poll up, and bought and paid for is up at 62%, but we do have 38% of you saying that it is the climate change. So let me know. ML69 said the hoax portion is the fear mongering being done. The goalposts have been moving for 44 years. True. And I mean, how do we address that? We can't just be no, it's a hoax. No, that didn't happen. Regardless of the reality of the situation, the left is so bought in on climate change. That's going to be their next COVID. We have to have something better than it's a hoax. We have to have something better rhetorically, even if it is a complete fabricated hoax. We need a better rhetorical answer. I said that he said the climate change agenda is a hoax. He doesn't go deep into that, but from other interviews, you'll get his argument better. The DNC opposes nuclear energy and gives free rein to China. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, is that it's a good line for the circumstances. And if you dig into it, yes, but those types of sound bites are the types of sound bites that the left will use to say, oh, he's crazy. You don't have to listen to anything he says for the next year because he said climate change is a hoax. That's what's going to happen. Nick says, I think people forget that we are still closer to the last ice age than we are to the next one. We are still on the warming side, but another ice age will happen unless the planet is destroyed first. And, it definitely could be. Interesting.
The anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is more
where the
people
cheers
are
for
dying
that?
of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
Okay, there's the cheers. Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. Good call.
Hold on. Listen. Hold on.
I've had enough
Here we go.
already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here.
I can just think of this trying to be nice. I can just think of him, sitting in his room, like, oh, I'm going to say ChatGPT. The kids are going to love that.
And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, what's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here, was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
Oh, I missed that the first time around. He said, give me a hug just like you gave Obama, which again is a stupid, it's a stupid thing when you take the actual substance of it, but you need the sound bites. You need to be able to show that you're quick-witted, that you can come back.
You'll help elect me just like you did to Obama too.
Woo! Help elect me like you help Obama too.
Type of amateur.
Hold on. Governor Haley, would you like to respond? Are you bought and paid for?
What I would like to say is the fact that I think this is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. First of all, we do care about clean air, clean water. We want to see that taken care of, but there's a right way to do it.
Now that's fun.
Yeah, Dave Vanner says, rare Christie dunk. Who knew he could jump that high? And it was a good line. He just didn't follow up on it. But definitely a good line. Ayush says, they're already doing it. Hassan, Kyle, TYT, all of them. They're disregarding his candidacy because of the climate change argument by deliberately omitting the agenda. So I'm saying, guys, we need something better than the word hoax, because that's what they're going to focus on. That's what they're going to focus on.
All of that was fun. I enjoyed all of that. All right.
Yeah,
so
it's like pure chaos.
Yeah, so let's go through it. First of all, to the last point first, Nikki Haley chiming in there. The crowd did eat it up.
Yeah, they listen. There's like a soft spot for boomer feminism, Margaret. That I don't know, but
I cringed like crazy when I watched
I did
that. I
too,
laughed. You heard me laugh in real time. Like, seriously, this is something Republican voters are gonna like.
Yeah, but
a woman got stuff done.
As much as they would, so many of them, identity politics, etc. But when it's like their identity politics, they love it.
Oh,
and that's a good point as to why I've been waiting for Vivek to throw the race card and be like, well, as a and he talks about being an immigrant or his family being immigrants, but he hasn't talked about oppression because I'm this, I'm that, and fair. It's one little line about feminism, and it seemed a little bit more tongue in cheek than anything else. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, screw this feminist, but I don't know. I think a lot of people reacted like Kyle did.
They love it. And
love it.
she does have the unique position because she's the only woman on the stage. I do think that served her well because it just sort of automatically differentiates.
Do you think the men though? Because I reacted like a typical man. I reacted like I'm a Mississippi Republican man who's 58, and I was like, ugh. Do you think that's going to be the reaction among most Republicans?
I mean, because that was her only little feminism,
right? That's
girl
awesome.
Power line.
So she got away with it, you think?
I think she got away with it.
By the way,
it's surprising to me. And I watched it a couple times to be like, are they really booing him on that? Because then at the end, when he makes this.
So they're talking about the booing, the same thing we were talking about. Let's see what the lefties have to say about it.
Abhorrent and wrong comment that like climate change mitigation kills more people than climate change, which like go look at Hawaii and everything else that's going on in the world. That got cheers. So, what I found interesting about this whole exchange is, first of all, I was shocked that Fox asked this question, right? But you're living in an era where these extreme events are so present and the temperature of the ocean is so high and you're hitting all of these records over and over and over again that even Fox News finds it sort of like undeniable and like you have to ask a question about that. I thought that was remarkable.
That's a great point. Why are they even asking about climate change at the Republican debates if it's not something that they're going to have to deal with moving forward? They know that they have to deal with it. I remember watching the Democratic debates in 2016. I remember it was like an hour in before they even mentioned, and I think there was like one question on climate change, and I was in that state of mind at the time. They're like, "Where's the climate change? Why are they talking about anything important?" And the fact that now on Fox News they're asking about climate change, it's something we're gonna have to deal with. And saying hoax, but putting the word agenda, hoping that that's gonna inoculate you against people thinking you're a crazy conspiracy theorist, that's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. M169 said it was an attempt at feminism, but there are worse women to model than the Iron Lady. True. Zuby says climate change, like the war on terror, kills more innocent people than it saves. I honestly, I don't know. Like, this is another area where it's like the propaganda and the rhetoric on both sides is so extreme that it can't possibly be one or the other. And I don't know, like, it doesn't have to be dead center, like halfway in between, but it is somewhere in between there. And I really just don't know because the rhetoric is so polarizing. I understand that, like I said, pouring all this carbon into the atmosphere can't have zero effect. I understand that turning your air conditioning only to 78 and only using this and only driving, that's not going to fix anything because it's mostly countries like India and China that are fucking everything up. But that's not going to win an argument. That's not going to win people over in a discussion. David Banner says, I think you nailed it, Lutch. Hoax was a terrible word to be used, and it will be held against Vivek by every Dem he would have to debate. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, the words matter, and especially at this stage in the game. If you had left out the word hoax, and let's say we get to the final primary debate, and now we're getting a little bit more into what the policies actually are, then you could say the whole agenda is a hoax, and I can tell you why. You have the time to explain that. And that's kind of maybe the opposite problem that Trump has, is that Vivek, in long form, the more you listen to him, the more you like him. But most people aren't going to be listening to any politician for an extended period of time. So you have to be able to get out those sound bites. Daniel says it would be to correct my question. It would be a substance, not a chemical. What? I don't know what we're talking about. Zibby says EPA sent armed agents over water rights. Cat converters being stolen to make drugs. Yeah, it's. I mean, there's issues. There's issues there, and nuclear absolutely is the easiest answer and arguably the best answer. But how do we get the people who think we need to turn down our air conditioning? That is the answer to move over to this. That is our job. If we have the right answer, we have to do better. We can't expect the people who have a stupid idea to automatically come up with a better idea than our idea. That doesn't make sense now, does it? Zibby says the rules will be enforced or create fallout, causing other problems. As always, right? I wanted to post it. Hard to take it as a real issue when we see articles like climate change, insert minority group most affected. And I agree. That's why we're in a place where at a Republican primary debate, you can say something like the whole agenda is a hoax, and that people will cheer for that. That's not a good thing, because yes, nuclear is good. Nuclear is better. We want to move in that direction. So if everybody thinks that climate change is just a fabricated problem, then we're not going to move in that direction, and it is going to get worse. And then the lefties are going to have more of a point. This is the game that we have to play. Why isn't it being played? M169 said, the hoax is propaganda. We need solid facts and reality to lead the narrative. It wasn't the best word, but exposing the truth is paramount. I agree with you, but Trump's been saying that climate change is a hoax since before he was president. This is the same. This is the same thing, but inverted, of how lefties still don't have a good answer to what is a woman. You have to figure that out. When you can just be kneecapped with one question. Hey, do you believe in climate change? No, I think it's a hoax. Well, conversation over. Nobody's listening to you. Hey, do you believe in a woman? Well, it's a collection of stereotypes and social constructs, and usually nobody is listening to you anymore. You have to be better with your rhetoric. The question was, what is the most corrosive substance we know to exist? I feel like I know this. I want to say something like sulfur something. I don't know. What is it? Zibby says, let's not forget to unplug your AC so you can charge your car up. Then, after 20 years, dump your car in a landfill and get another one. That's what they want. Is it really? Oh, with like, is that factoring in like time and like erosion and stuff like that? Because then that's not the substance that's being corrosive. That's the friction that's being corrosive. David said to M169, I hear what you're saying, but it would be easy for any Dem to say, well, climate change is real. And exactly. It's air. How is it air? What is the most corrosive? What did you put? Substance? What did you say? Known to man. Well, it doesn't say air or water. It says fluoroantimonic acid is the strongest acid and one of the most corrosive, but experts say that in some ways, hydrofluoric acid is still the most dangerous. That's what I was thinking of, hydrofluoric acid. Why? Because you're more likely to encounter some blah, blah, blah. So then, no, it's this one. No, I don't know what you guys are getting at, but it's not air and it's not water. Obviously. Ayush says the problem is the mainstream media keeps conflating climate change with pollution. Happens in many forms: air, water, soil, noise. It is toxic to the people exposed. Well said, sir. Well said. Absolutely. There's a huge difference between pollution of any of these sorts and the changing of the climate. That is where it's this type of stuff that we need to, again, find the wording to be able to just spit out. Climate change isn't this, it's that. Or climate change is just da-da-da-da-da. That's what needs to happen. Daniel says metal doesn't oxidize unless you have oxygen. Okay, but that doesn't make oxygen corrosive. like metal doesn't, I mean, like, you know, like a house won't burn without fire, but that doesn't mean that carbon is like carbon is the most corrosive thing. What the fuck are you guys talking about? Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I thought the fact that everybody on the stage, except basically Vivek, really wanted to avoid the question. They were uncomfortable.
Yeah,
so Ron jumps in to try, because they try to do this like raise your hand.
Only one person semi-raised their hand real quick, and that was Asa Hutchinson.
So Ron jumps in to rescue everybody from the question of,
what about corporate media? How about corporate media? What do you
believe in human?
So that's really what it was. When DeSantis is like, well, let's just have the debate and then pivot. That's what was going on, not trying to give a short answer to a more complicated question. And I think, Vivek would have been happy to not raise his hand and give that strong answer as he did. But all the rest of them, not willing to. And so when you see it that way, more strength and leadership from Vivek and more politicking in a good way from DeSantis, but 6 of one, half a dozen the other there, I think. Moving on.
Made climate change. He jumps in, which I thought was, like, it's sad, but I think it was actually like a clever move to short circuit.
I disagree on that one.
I thought it was a clever move to short circuit the question, which put everybody, including himself, in a very awkward position. But then he doesn't have the skill to pivot in a way that's not obvious. So he's like, let's have the debate. Corporate media, am I right? Which just to me felt so hacky and politician. It was so.
I should have seen that. And I she said that he didn't do it in a good way, and I kind of got caught up in it. So that's why we are looking at both sides of things, because it's important to know what people are thinking. That's the whole point of all this. What do people think of these candidates? Now that they've had a chance to speak, what are people thinking of them? What is the populist temperature? Excuse me. He says, and he only opposed to raising the hand once. He never said anything to raising hands later on. Yeah, so that really shows it's about the question.
So obvious that it was just like, I don't want to answer this question. So when Vivek chimes in and he's like, hey, I'll answer the question. I think, the climate change agenda is a hoax and here's why, blah, blah, blah. Even though it was a divisive response, and even though clearly some part of the audience was not having what he was telling, that it was young people, makes a lot more sense, because even young Republicans believe in climate change and think we should be doing something about it.
That's why I was confused.
But I think even though it was a divisive answer, because he was so clear and not trying to I don't really want to deal with this one, I think it ultimately serves him well.
So here's my take on it, just to walk everybody through it. So they ask, do you think climate change is real? Only Asa puts up his hand for like a split second and puts it down real quick, which all of that is bad. It's 2023. Now the anecdotal experience of everybody is matching up with the empirical data. This is just, it is literally psycho. And I forgot who said it, but apparently the Republican Party is like one of the only political parties in the entire world that still denies climate change. Like, there are conservatives in other countries who are like, well, yeah, of course climate change is happening.
Yeah. All right. So so there's one more here with Pence and Vivek. And then I want to check out, there was the PBD crew, the Valuetainment crew, came together and had some thoughts about this. And I thought they had some predictions and really cool. So we're going to check that out as well before we head to the after party. And I'm not going to be able to stay too long tonight because I do have an early client tomorrow, but we will always have that after party. That's right. Every single live stream. When it is done, we head over to the TheIndianJesus live stream Discord server where the party never ends. That's right, 24/7. We're in there hanging out. And after every single live stream, we go in there. When you're not stuck behind your keyboard, you're actually on screen with me and everybody else. You don't have to cam up. You can. It's I prefer if you do, but even if you don't want to, it is a grand old time. Come and join us.
A bunch of juicy back and forth things. A whole bunch of moments where it's like, oh my God, do they really believe that? So first, I want to start with. And this was evident from early on in the debate. Pence really going for the jugular against Vivek, probably because he feels like this idiot's outpolling me. What the hell? I'm the vice president, right?
Yeah.
So he aggressively went after him. Take a look.
This isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock American energy, drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Put people back to work by no longer paying them more to stay at home. Reform the U.S. Fed, stabilize the U.S. dollar, and go to war. The only war that I will declare as U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy. So I'm not sure I exactly understood Mike Pence's comment, but I'll let you all parse that out. For me, it's pretty simple. That's something a U.S. president can do with focus, and I'll deliver on it.
Let me explain it to you. Vivek.
Yeah, again, bad wording. Well, I didn't understand it. No. That's saying that you didn't understand it. We're saying Mike's babbling about some BS or something like that. That's how you want to attack that.
I'll go slower this time.
I sometimes struggle with the reading comprehension.
Look, I was a House conservative leader before it was cool. I actually pushed the Deficit Reduction Act. That was the last time we actually reduced the national debt in the United States when I was the leader of House conservatives. I balanced budgets and cut taxes when I was governor. I mean, look, Joe Biden has weakened this country at home and abroad. Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience.
Okay, people not liking it.
We need to bring
I just want to respond to Mike for 1
So
second.
before we go to that one, what did I miss here? Sippy Strange said the imperial or empirical data tells us to whack off our nether regions and take a bunch of chemicals. What are you guys talking about? I used to climate change isn't climate change is real isn't saying much. It's like the sun gives us heat. Policies driven to address the climate change are counterintuitive, such as pushing EV in a coal-based energy state. Absolutely agree. But saying that climate change isn't real, saying that climate change is real in the face of somebody saying, no, this is a hoax, is that's a knockout punch. That's a knockout punch. David Banner said, Vivek is saying he can deliver, but let's be real. Congress plays a huge part in any agenda that a president can push. Fair enough. But I think, again, when, we're not in this cutthroat environment of sound bites and everything, then, he is going to do a lot better with these aspects of the presidency. Unwanted Foe said, this is why I described him as a high school jock. Fair enough.
Because he invoked me back. Listen, now that everybody's gotten their memorized, prepared slogans out of the way, we can actually have a real discussion now. The reality and the fact of the matter is...
Was that one of yours?
Not really, Mike, actually. We're just going to have some fun tonight. And the reality is, you have a bunch of people, professional politicians, super PAC puppets, following slogans handed over to them by their 400-page super PACs last week. The real choice we face in this primary is this. Do you want a super PAC puppet, or do you want a patriot who speaks the truth?
There you go.
Which is what you're hearing about. Or do you want revolution?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I stand on the side of the American revolution.
Yeah, David, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think you're absolutely right. I have the faith in Vivek to do it, and maybe slightly naive, but I do think he can do it.
We're gonna take control back here.
Damn. So a couple things there. Pence was the aggressor against Vivek.
Mm-hmm.
It was very clear internally. Him and his staffers were like, this guy's out polling you. He's a nobody. This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
So he went in there with a mission.
Oh, yeah.
It's to go after Vivek. He did it continuously throughout almost the entire debate. And then later on, others jumped in.
Yeah.
And I actually think Pence was one of the worst at getting blows in against Vivek that landed.
I
think Haley did a better job. Even that one line from Christie, I think, did a better job, which we'll get to that one in a little bit.
Yeah.
So the most contentious parts is Pence saying, I'll go slower this time to explain to you what I was saying.
Yep. And I mean, you can't give those layups. You cannot give those layups. David Banner said, I wish Trump was there to dunk just one last time. Don't worry, because we still got the actual debates up there, or the actual, I don't know what they're called, but like right before Super Tuesday, there's more debates, and I do not think Trump is going to miss out on the opportunity to lay the smack down. Zippy said Trump being there would have been awesome. Absolutely.
And then he also said, we don't need to bring in a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Talk
For
about
on-the-job training.
Which, look, I get what he's going for, but it's condescending. And I think the general mood in the country is like, we
Let's
prefer
get somebody
outsiders
new.
to insiders because insiders got us in this mess in the first place.
Exactly. And remember, in a post-Trump world, you, especially on the Republican side, you can't be making these arguments because the whole thing has been about drain the swamp, the deep state, this, that, the other. So, like, say, oh, some new guy who's not part of our club that you guys have been complaining about for the last 6 years. Yeah, not a good line.
So I don't think the whole like, well, I have experience thing. I don't think that's compelling in the same. I mean, I said the same thing back when it was Hillary versus Trump. She does the whole like, I have experience, and it's like, yeah, and what has that gotten us?
Right, experience.
NAFTA, Iraq,
experience of what?
Libya.
Yeah, worse than nothing. Worse than nothing.
Slave market.
And it goes back to what Vivek was saying on Bill Maher's podcast in the last show, that if you have somebody with a long resume, then you can expect that they're likely, first of all, sitting pretty. They're in a position where even if they do things that are not great, that they're going to be all right. And secondly, that they're more likely near the end of their career. Whereas if you have somebody who's newer, maybe they don't have that experience. But if they can show you that they have what it takes to do the job, then they have more stake in the game because there's a longer time period, which they're going to have to be a part of the country.
It's like outsourcing. It got us all these terrible things. And so I think Vivek, won the best in this exchange. His two great parts were, this guy's up here with his pre-planned slogans. I don't have those. And then he goes to, these are professional politicians. They're super PAC puppets. And then there's another point in the debate too, where he basically just says, I'm the only one up here that's not bought and paid for.
Yeah.
It's amazing. He's stealing from Trump's greatest hits in 2016, but also in his intro comments, he stole from Obama.
Oh, who said that before? Was that David? Or I apologize if I forget who it was, but good call. A little bit of Trump, a little bit of Obama.
Skinny kid with the weird name or whatever he said.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like mixing Obama and Trump and delivering it in this package. And I think in this exchange, he definitely has his finger on the pulse, the sentiment of the country way better than Pence does.
The sentiment certainly of the Republican base, but I agree with you of the country because I even think like that, experience, I'm the experienced one and this person doesn't have the resume credentials. I actually think that would sell more in a Democratic primary because they're, more conditioned to be like, we need to check the box. Were you a governor? Were you a senator? Whatever. What does the media tell me is the right thing in terms of the resume? So I think it would sell more in a Democratic primary, even though I think it's kind of weak there too. In a Republican primary, these are the people who are still in love with Donald Trump. It came out of nowhere.
And that's really the long and short of it, isn't it? That the long and short of it is that they are all running for second place. And, not that, VP or having a high cabinet position is a bad thing, but let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's going to take some real politicking on the part of the Democrats, which they're already doing, to knock him out. And I think that as we get closer, then, as that picture gets a little bit clearer, then we're going to know in like what context and what lens are we viewing these people. Unwanted Foe said, and the more you learn how to profit from causing chaos to wait, what? I don't know what.
He was.
So this is the PVD team, the value team.
So here's winners and losers. Do you have your winners and losers?
I do.
You want to go first with your winners and losers, and I'll give mine.
You want to go first, or you want me to go?
I'll go first. Okay. My winners and losers. I think anytime you do, and by the way, this was our prediction that we made. If you want to take a look at this was the prediction pre-debate. So
pre-debate. Turn this off. So PVD had Vivek as the winner, Pence as the loser. The biggest, the most shots at Trump would be Christie, at Biden, DeSantis, and the most surprising would be Tim Scott. I don't know if anybody really cares about the rest, but you can take a look. They even blocked out their own guy's thing. But how do you think how was their prediction?
So we gave this to you guys. Rob, you got this from us yesterday or something like that, and you guys kind of put it together. So winners, I thought Vivek was going to be the winner. I thought Pence was going to be the loser. Then shots at Trump, Christie, he did that. Shots at Biden. You have, DeSantis. Most surprising, Tim Scott. I don't think Tim Scott was the most surprising. I thought it was Haley by a mile. Winner, I don't know who you had there.
I agree. And in terms of most surprising, I would say Nikki Haley, because she seemed to have, if we had to rate it, I would say, top 3 being Vivek, then Nikki Haley, then probably, I want to say DeSantis, but I don't know if I can put him there. I don't know if I can put him there. Because Christie had a lot of notable moments. Pence had some solid moments, and again, DeSantis kind of just didn't move the needle. Unwanted Foe said Adam and Tom were way off. The winner would be, I don't even know this guy's name. Loser being Tim Scott. Shots at Trump being Pence. Shots at Biden being Bailey, and obviously most surprising if he was going to win. And then Tom had DeSantis winner, Haley loser, Christie shots at Trump, DeSantis shots at Biden, and most surprising, Tim Scott. Ron was suffice. He was okay. He didn't do anything wrong, but he needed to do something great, and he just didn't. Zippy says, where are the Black Rock Nikki t-shirts at? Oh man, I would rock one of those. Indie Film, new shirt for my6shirt.com, where you can get one of these of your own. David Banner said, yeah, DeSantis didn't look like like the leader of a country. He couldn't even win this debate. Exactly. Melton Mind Media said, I think DeSantis was the most surprising. I thought he was going to come out looking way worse. Interesting. I didn't. I at no point did I think he was like, he didn't know what was going on. This whole time we've been saying he's got his finger on the pulse of what to say. It's just his personality. It's just not jiving.
Adam, that's North Dakota's governor, right?
I had an underdog, and I was absolutely wrong. I thought that Doug Burgum,
he broke his foot.
This guy got crossed over.
He broke his foot. He broke his ankle, and
they torn Achilles. But you're playing basketball. Some staffer crossed him up.
Yeah. And
he's a 60-year-old man. It was Achilles injury.
I actually like the line he said. I like how he opened it up. He kind of took a shot at himself. I thought it was funny.
He said, "Go out there and break a leg." I did. My bad, y'all. But I thought he was going to come out strong because I think he's actually a businessman, entrepreneur. Also a governor. I thought that he was going to do his thing. He did.
By the way, just so you know, what everybody said afterwards, just so you know, I had no idea he was until you kind of said who he was, right? Like, he's actually good. Everybody said, if somebody else said what he was saying, it would have been received better, but he didn't know how to deliver his message better. So he had good policy.
He doesn't have that oomph.
Yeah. So let me just go through my winners and losers. Here's what I got. Number one, I think one of the biggest winners is who nobody talked about, which is the moderators. I thought the moderators crushed it because nobody bitched about them. There was literally nothing said about the moderators.
Actually, now that I'm hearing it again, I think I didn't realize that I'd heard him say that before. So to be fair, I didn't say that on my own. I realized that I heard that from them. To be fair. Melton My Media. Oh, we got that. Said I thought he was going to be attacked more, but you can tell the rhinos are scared of who the rhinos are scared of, and it's Vivek. Yes, sir. Nick says he just doesn't have the likability he needs. Yep.
Think about the town hall Trump did with that one girl that used to be one of Tucker's aides. Everybody trashed her. Yeah. Guess what? In this sense, I thought Brett Baer actually did he looked at the audience, was very pleasant. He didn't look angry like Anderson. Keep it down. Keep it down. He was kind of like, hey, can you guys please, so we can talk more policy?
And Martha McCallum was also,
I thought they were great. I thought they were great. Even the funny moment with Chris Christie about aliens. She laughed. I never thought a person from New Jersey, you know me, why would you ask me about aliens? I thought it was a good moment.
As it gets, and he's going to get that evangelical vote. That's great. He did have one line.
Mike Pence he's talking about.
Where he said, I'd put the Constitution over Donald Trump. And anytime that you're going to see Mike Pence on stage with Donald Trump this next debate, don't underestimate what Mike Pence is going to say on stage to basically torpedo Trump. Now, will it work? I don't know. But don't forget that Mike Pence takes the high road. He's going to do his Christian thing, but he's got a vendetta. Don't forget about that.
I think Trump's the only winner. Has one outcome. I think Mike Pence only has one outcome.
What's that? Torpedoing
He's
Trump?
only doing it for his kids and grandkids. This is only for his legacy. He's not convinced he's going to be the president.
Right.
He himself doesn't believe he's going to be a president. His family doesn't believe he's going to be a president. He's just trying to protect the legacy of a man who spent his entire life pretty much in public service to say, I did the right thing, kids and grandkids. And then from there, he can live the rest of his life as a working for Fox or representing for whoever it is. I think it was purely a legacy.
Y'all know.
I actually think that
I will happily play that after this if you guys want, but we got to keep the party
he
raging.
was a little more amped up than usual.
I agree.
I don't know if that came across
It was
for you
felt
guys.
100% in the
You know,
audience.
and then again, Trump's the winner. I thought Nikki Haley, you know, did her thing. She's got zero chance. Zero. She's running for VP. You think Nikki Haley's going to fucking out Trump? One thing was clear. I don't know if you guys saw this. Unless you have that, like, I can't look away quality and you talking some smack, Vivek does it a little bit. Even Chris Christie does it a little bit. He ain't going anywhere, though. Dude, that's what we've turned into. These debates have literally turned into, like, I need to watch this. It's like you got to suck all the oxygen out of the room.
And that's exactly what I mean with if DeSantis was a running in 2016, then he would. I think he would have beat Trump. I think he would have beat Trump, being the same guy that he is. Because the biggest thing was, oh, he's not presidential. He's not presidential. If he was saying the same exact things that he has been saying, but he was doing it in this buttoned up way, that's how politics were. But we're not in that world anymore. M169 said, I think PBD is correct. There's no way Pence goes the distance in this race. MAGA won't forget. Hell no. Hell no. And there really is, I mean, I don't really want to get into a whole J6 conversation, but like he could have easily just not signed the votes or whatever it was, you know, whatever the thing was that they were saying, you know, we're going to go protest. He could have easily not done that. That doesn't mean that Biden wouldn't have been the president. That doesn't mean that Trump would have won. That it would have been a legal avenue for all of this. And again, it probably still would have ended up with Biden being the president because that's what the entire establishment wanted. But he didn't have to be, you know, a simp for the establishment. And like M169 is saying, MAGA won't forget. Yeah, he's definitely the conversion therapy. Yep. Zig says, Pence gives the eyebrows when Christie compliments about certifying the vote. That's what I meant. Certifying the vote. Like he's no, yeah, he was definitely in favor of you know, shock conversion therapy. I mean, remember, he is the evangelical guy. Like he is, if he could have the theocracy where the Bible is over the Constitution, I think he absolutely would. He wouldn't say it, but he definitely would. And a lot of people would like it. Unwanted Foe said that's a good take on Pence, doing it all for the legacy and to not tarnish the last name, like a medieval noble families. Yep.
So Tim Scott, sorry, brother, you're done. Have a nice day. You're a swamp creature who's been in the Senate for decades now. Get out of here. Asa Hutchinson, who is that? Mike Pence's dad. Keep it moving, old man. Even my guy, Doug Burgum, solid guy. He does not have the eyeball effect. Chris Christie, how have you not lost a fucking pound in 30 years, buddy? How is this possible? Like, come on.
How have you not lost a pound in? Oh my God. It's actually a good point, though. It's a really good point. Like, if you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of an entire country?
As funny as, you know, like people think it's funny, it's actually not funny.
No,
it's not funny. You don't have control over what you put in your mouth. How the hell are you going to have control
exactly
over
that.
other temptations?
If you can't manage your weight, you're going to like, and I'm not talking bad about big people that have problems around the world, but you can get healthier and better. I don't trust your decision.
Not 1 pound?
Not
in
he got
30
bigger.
years?
He got bigger. But go ahead, Adam.
So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, and I mean this
Chris
like genuinely, this was a game.
Oh, Chris Krusty. I like that one. Melton My Media said, did you see the clip of the mod getting ready to ask a question? And Mike is just rambling in the background. And the mod said, it would be easier if he would quit talking. No, I didn't see that. But facts. Oh, no. Wait, you mean when Mike is rambling in the back? You mean, oh, okay. When he told Mike if he would quit talking, or when he turned around? We saw when he turned around. I didn't see the thing about Pence though.
TV debate. If you don't have Trump, if you don't have the heavyweight champion.
Yeah, run that. That needs to be.
He got
30
bigger.
years?
He got bigger.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Adam.
So, I mean,
got
look, at the
bigger.
end of the day, and I mean this like genuinely, this was a JV debate. If you don't have Trump, if you don't have the heavyweight champion in the world fighting, these guys should all be thankful and lucky. But I think when all is said and done, you're going to cut out the 6, 7, 8 characters, which are Tim Scott, Doug Burgum, Asa Hutchinson, even Chris Christie. Goodbye. See you later. You're going to be left with DeSantis, Vivek, Mike Pence, and Nikki Haley and Trump.
Okay. DeSantis, Vivek, Pence, Haley, and Trump. Agree or disagree? Just give me an agree or disagree that those are going to be the final 5. We have DeSantis, Vivek, Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, Donald Trump as our top 5. Agree or disagree?
That'll be your final 5. Dunzo. Trump number 1. Vivek, I think, will overtake DeSantis as number 2. DeSantis number 3. You got Mike Pence. You got Nikki Haley just for a little female effect. And that's what you're going to be looking at in the next major debates. That's the final 5.
Vinny.
I mean, I think we're all on the same page in that obviously Trump basically won a race, won the best Olympic 100-meter dash, didn't even have to show up. Obviously the winner. We didn't see Rob, our HR even made a great point. 0 MAGA hats in the entire, there was no MAGA in that place. Like, I know there was Trump supporters. Nobody was rocking the gear. Nobody, you know what I mean? They were all just anti, the hell with this. He's not here.
Interesting. Do you make anything out of that? I mean, obviously we just have to take his word for it because they weren't really panning over to the audience, specifically in the clips that we were watching. So I don't know, but do you make anything of that? Or is that more of probably, because there had to be Trump fans there, Interesting. Do you make anything of that or no? I don't. What do you guys think? Wanted Foe said, honestly, those are the only Republican tickets I know of prior to this debate. Same. Daniel said Pence should have been given the same drug they give those trans kids in his 20s. The one they give people who like non-aggressive, who like aggressive non-consensual coitus. I think they call it Lupron. So Ayush is saying Trump over Vivek, over Nikki, over DeSantis, over Pence. And I would swap Vivek and Trump, but I would swap Vivek and Trump, and I would swap DeSantis and Nikki. Because Nikki is, again, she is a warmonger. I do not want my tax dollars, your tax dollars, our tax dollars being spent on wars that don't need to happen. So I would say Vivek, Trump, DeSantis, Nikki, Pence. That's me. What about you guys? Let's give the same format. Everybody, put your if we're agreeing these are the top 5, put the top 5 in the order that you would prefer. Zuby says to Unwanted Foe, give him what they put Biden on. Yeah, really. I mean, despite the fact that he's fallen asleep, the fact that he's alive, they must be giving him the good stuff. The good stuff. So nothing really in the lack of MAGA. Okay. They are definitely all better than Biden, for sure. Except if politicians could agree, as much as everyone here, we could get something done. Yep, but, that's exactly why it's such a difficult thing, because here we all have the same goal. Even if they have the same goals for the country, they have conflicting goals as they want to be the one to lead that country. But completely agree. Yeah, I'm interested. What do you guys say in the order of the race? You're saying right now. Ayush, this was you saying where they are right now, or your opinion? So either way, on everybody's opinion on what they would prefer in this format. So Melted Mind Media said Trump first, Vivek second, then Ron and Larry Elder and JFK Jr. Really? I'm as much as I like the guy, as much as I like what he says, there's just too much establishment power, and it's not about the person. As we can clearly see with Biden, there's too much going on behind the scenes that I'm not comfortable at this point with any Democrat in office. But fair enough. M169 says Trump, Vivek, DeSantis, Haley, and a controversial statement Elder. I forgot about Larry Elder, which is exactly what they wanted by not inviting him to the debate. So then I will amend that to say Vivek, Trump, Elder, DeSantis, and Haley. So we're knocking out Pence, or putting in Larry Elder. Ayusha's preference said Vivek, Trump, RFK, and DeSantis. No fifth, no Larry Elder, no nothing. Shout out to Straight Craig, Static Craig. Sorry, I'm reading names. Said Trump or Vivek, Elder, and then Ron. So we seem to be, essentially with a couple spots changed. We essentially, seem to be in the same kind of headspace. And Nick's just like anybody but Biden. Anybody but Biden. M169 said RFK is probably the only Democrat if he should win. Doesn't scare the crap out of me. Not me. That man will be subverted so fast. In the same way that they didn't let Trump do anything. Now, okay, we can put a lot of that on Trump for not knowing better how to manage the personnel. There's absolutely that aspect. But there was a lot that Trump wanted to do that he wasn't able to get done because of the people directly around him and the people in Congress. And I don't see why it would be any different with RFK. I don't see why it would be any different with RFK. And Multiply Media said, what about Kamala? No, Kamala.
They're not even there to support. I think another.
You got a feeling there was not MAGA people there?
I felt that they were, they were in the crowd, but Pat, no gear, no hats.
Vinny, you can't be that naive.
No, what do you mean?
I saw a handful of people with MAGA hat. You're right. It wasn't as much as you think.
It wasn't as much. And when they mentioned, I heard when they were mentioning Trump, Pat, I got some applause, but you heard a lot of, they were booing when they were talking about Trump in that place. So
yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is it wasn't, to me, it wasn't 0-0. So the way they said it, they gave the left side to DeSantis.
Yeah, big time.
They gave the right side to Vivek. And then they gave Haley close to where you were sitting down.
All the girls, yeah.
And then some of the, Pence folks and all the other guys were kind of sprinkled all over the place. But, you can, what crowd do you think had the biggest crowd there? Who did you feel that had the most?
Wow, good. The
good
loudest
question.
was.
All right, that's a good question. Who do you think had the biggest crowd there? Six says, I'd pay good money to see Kamala debate. I don't think you would. Maybe you would, but you would be you would have buyer's remorse after 3 minutes. You'd be like, oh my God, this bitch is so dumb. Yeah, this bitch is dumb. Oh, this bitch is dumb. Can I have my money back, please? That's what it would be like if you paid for a Kamala debate. I used to say my man's a fan of empty can. Is that Big Booty Latina? My favorite AOC, Big Booty Latina, Elkstein 99. Exactly. The booty. It's not your beauty, it's your booty.
Vivek. Like the girls, the energy, but DeSantis had a lot of people. DeSantis had a lot. But you know what else I thought the winner was? The Democrats. The Department of Justice doing their thing. Trump, he's getting indicted today, right?
4 o'clock in 23 minutes.
Those are the winners, bro. You know who won? The Democratic Party, the Department of Justice are going after the main guy, Pat, who is the number one. Because at the end of the day, Pat, and I've been saying this not to jump off, everybody, it's Trump. Everybody say, oh, you're Trump or you Trump. It didn't even have to be Trump. It was just we wanted somebody that was going to go against these assholes. And sorry for my language, the establishment. Everybody, and everybody always likes to say that word, the establishment. He's the only guy, he's the first guy in my generation that was like, you know what? No more swamp, no more this. The hell with China, the hell with these people. America first. And what did they do? All that swamp was like, no, F you, and made everybody go. Trump derangement syndrome. I never liked Trump. When he was on Apprentice, Year 5, I never gave a damn.
I wish I had found The Apprentice earlier, because I found the show during the later end when it was just like Celebrity Apprentice, which was awesome. That's how I got introduced to Chael Sonnen. Shout out to Chael. But I love The Apprentice. What was his face that came back? Schwarzenegger. Just not the same. You're not Trump. You're not Trump.
Till I started looking at all the videos of him on all the shows going, I love America. The shows that would never put him on, Letterman and everything. I love America. All I care about is this country. Why do we care about other countries? Who cares about Ukraine? It's America first. So obviously he won. The Democrats are kicking ass because they got the Department of Justice on him. DeSantis, it was almost as if he knew the questions first and he was reading and he knew everything. It was robotic. It was disingenuous. You nailed it. The last podcast we had, you said, and I quote, if this is his only chance, he better come out and talk to us, talk to the people. It wasn't. It was looking down and blah, 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 and COVID this, and he was doing this.
And I won't let you down. Okay, I didn't think you were going to, but now that you said that.
And I noticed something about him that a couple people on Twitter were mentioning. Rob could pull it up. I saw him walking like during the commercial with like a hunch.
I forgot about that.
And I looked, and he had on high-rise boots on.
He wears his boots.
I didn't, no, but look at that. Look, can you get on that, Rob? It was.
He wears those boots everywhere.
But
he wore them when we met with him.
How short is he?
Is he short? No, he's a big guy,
bro.
Well, guess what? Look at
wait
those
for
boots.
this. Ready?
Those
Ready?
were
What are those?
comfortable. He looks like he's walking uncomfortable.
When we met him, he's I don't know. He's probably an inch or two taller than me, an inch or two shorter than you. I want to say I'm 6 foot. Pat's 6'4".
But wearing those boots,
I'm saying he's 6'1", 6 like.
He's 5'9".
Yeah,
he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he is not 5'9".
He's
yeah,
5'9".
yeah.
DeSantis is not 5'9". No chance.
He's short.
All right, nobody look it up. How tall do you think DeSantis is? Do not look it up. It's not fun if you just look it up and put the number in. How tall do you think DeSantis is?
But anyway,
well, Pat, according to the internet, you're 5'4".
What? Okay, yeah. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Daniel Cabrera said, oh, you're talking about that. Ayush said 6 foot. Stat, I'm gonna call you Stat because I don't want to mess up your name anymore. Stat says 5'9" or 6 foot. Somewhere in between. All right. Zig says 5'5". That's my height. I mean, I wish, but 5'10", and I mean, yeah, bro. Like people who are 5'9", I don't know how often dudes who are 5'9" wear heels. Just saying. 5'6". No, I don't think he's that short. Short. This makes sense. Unwanted foe. This makes sense. Where is it? Come on. There we go. That makes sense. I would accept that. That makes sense.
Well, no. What I'm saying to you is I remember standing next to him, and I remember looking at his shoes. At best, he's 5'10". Which 5'10" is
if he's
tall. 5'10" is a good height.
then he's wearing 6-inch heels.
Well, dude,
no,
I'm
6
sorry,
inch
he
would
was
be 6'4".
looking.
Oh,
he was taller than
6 inch would be 6'4". By the way, the cowboy boots. Just look at this. Cowboy boots. What's the word?
Boots.
No, but if you want to find like
5'9". He's 5'9". Bruh. Oh man. Bro. Own it for the rest of us short kings, bruh. Own that shit.
The heel of the boot.
I just got catfished by Ron DeSantis' heels.
Yeah. So if you look
No
at
way.
cowboy boots, heel what? What question do you ask?
3 inches? Like how many inches?
3
is he at?
inches.
He's adding 3 inches, and he was in
Okay.
the middle, and he was
That
taller
makes
than
sense.
everybody else.
Okay.
Okay. So if he's 5'10" and
He's 6 feet. That makes sense.
Yeah, he was up there. But
You got me, Ron.
Yeah.
You catfished me with them.
Nobody's gonna donate to the lengthen Lutch's legs operation. I mean, just saying, I could do a lot of good going from 5'4" to 5'7".
High heels.
By the way, and the other part that some people will say is, when you wear cowboy boots, the first thing you think about is he's from Texas. I don't know it.
No.
Like, but I've been in Florida for a while. I don't see anywhere here that
It's not a thing.
No.
It's not a
Born
thing
and raised in
cowboy-
Florida,
Yeah.
nobody wears
By the
cowboy
way,
boots.
he was uncomfortable, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I can get that strategy. You're in the middle. You're standing. I think, again, Christie and Pence. I saw them, like you said, in between commercials, hugging, talking. That's an alliance. Those two have. Vivek, awesome. Pat, I don't like the fact that he opened the speech with the same exact line that Obama used about him. And I'm just the
Skinny
guy
kid with a funny last name.
I kind of listen. I think he's a great speaker. Nikki Haley represented the whole section that I was in. Really, really loved her. I think she stepped up. The guy in the end, Asa Hutchinson, whatever.
To me,
To Melted Mind Media for the $2 super chat. Let's see if he'll eat.
and our differences so much.
Here. No, you don't want it? You don't want it. Oh, well, thank you anyway. He's going to eat it as soon as we get out of here. But thank you. And of course, that means the party rages on. Let's go. I was just about to cut this off and go to the Vivek speech, but thanks to Melted Mind Media, we are going to finish this out. Thank you, sir.
He looks like Biden's second cousin. They look like they're cousins. We're looking at that picture right there.
Dude, that is insane.
They look like they're related.
Steven Crowder said that he looks...
Asa at the debate. That's his picture at the debate.
That's crazy. That haircut is just politics.
Fun fact, the high heel was invented in France for a king. A short king, I imagine. Short kings, let's go!
Steven Crowder compared him to one of those white lab rats with pink eyes. He's like that.
Yeah, it does. And then
you know who he looks like?
Yeah. Seth says, well, I can say for sure that Ron's height nor shoes are going to change my mind. I just don't think he has the balls to affect positive change where it counts. And that's really what it comes down to, right? Because you can say all the right things. You can make all the promises in the world, and it's already hard enough for somebody like a Trump to get those promises and to make those come true. You can say all the right things, but if you don't have the chutzpah to actually get in there and get it done, then you are useless to all of us. And especially when a lot of people like what you're doing in Florida, even the people who like you are like, well, we like you here. So, I mean, not looking good. No official height, but I mean, Google doesn't lie. All right, let's go straight to his, let's see if we can get a more. All right, what is this? This is blogging.org. It says 5'11". Okay. Meaw.com has him at 5'8". Nobody knows. Celebheights.com has him at 5'11". Interesting. So we have a mystery on our hands. Whoever can find the exact, correct, verified height of Ron DeSantis will get a $5 super chat from me, or a $5 cash app from me.
You know that one, the pastor, the money pastor. Let me tell you,
creepy guy.
What's her name? Hey, I see Jesus in your. Don't you ever? But Tyler Perry is a really good. He almost gave away the jet. I had
free.
Yeah.
But and then Tim Scott, they gave him $20 million for the super PAC. He should have taken some of that money and learned to project that voice, because I couldn't hear anything. And if they clapped a little bit, you lost his message.
I think you're talking about Kenneth Copeland.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, Kenneth Copeland.
Scary little.
Look at that.
Tell me you got okay. Real quick. Put a 1 in the chat if you do not know who Kenneth Copeland is, the televangelist, because that is something that we have to watch now that we have the funds to continue. Kenneth. Beautiful. Oh, please don't.
How are you?
So this is so we got a bunch of ones here. So I wish, brother. I wish. Where are we? So they're talking about Kenneth Copeland. And Kenneth Copeland is a televangelist. So he has his TV church thing and super rich, and is always asking old people for money and says, like, you need to give me money so that God will, one of those kind of people. So this is, that kind of guy. I'm going to speed this up a little bit and, just kind of get to the fun moment.
Sir, we'd just like to ask you about why you don't want to fly commercial. Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. Why do you think that?
No, listen to me just a second.
No, this needs to be.
The main reason is because of the need. If I flew commercial, I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing. That's really the main.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business, but
It's the business of your donors.
listen.
Yup.
I paid.
Look at this. Ready?
You kind of caught me off guard here. Okay.
Certainly. Well, if you'd like to come out here, I'd like to give you a chance to catch your breath and have a conversation. We don't want to catch you off guard.
I love Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey.
So do I, please. It's just fair use. We're just checking it out. I promise. Please.
You listen to me? My wife thinks
Wait for the eyes.
Inside Edition is, oh, yeah. Now, thank you, Lord. Help me. Just let me pray.
Well, let
me pray while I come up with some BS on why I need to take all these old people's money to fly Tyler Perry's jet. Dear Lord Jesus, I'm full of shit, but I say God and Christian, so people think that I'm a good person.
Let me just ask you a really simple question. A lot of people think it's unbecoming for a preacher to live a life of luxury and to fly around in private jets. What's your response to that?
Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what we do.
All right, look at the eyes. Look at the eyes.
We have brought over 100, let's see, the latest figures just came out. 122 million people to the Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Let me give you another example. Last May,
he's getting mad.
I was scheduled for Lagos, Nigeria. That's a long ways. I had a week off.
Oh, a week.
And
okay.
I was scheduled for
He's not playing a game.
And I prayed about it.
He's not playing a game. He's playing a character. He's playing a character of somebody who is a good person when he's clearly not.
And I thought, I'm not missing that dedication in Jerusalem. Without the airplane that we have that I bought from Tyler Perry, and I didn't pay anywhere. And Tyler's one of the greatest guys. He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it.
Well, my question then.
Hey, shout out to I Am That I Am. Welcome to the party. Said his COVID-19 video was spectacular. I'm definitely going to have to check that one out. And exactly, Nick, that is,
Well, okay, all right, but I want to get to the demons because people are very concerned about that comment.
Give me a chance here.
So in case they don't repeat it again, he said he can't fly commercial because commercial flights are tubes full of demons.
That edition. I love your eyes. And here's what happened. Beta. We flew in 21 days, 70 hours. 40,000 miles, touched 5 continents, and preached face to face personally.
You can always tell the preacher type. Yeah, right. And it gets worse. It gets worse. And oh, you've seen it. You know. And you can always tell the preacher type of talking because there's so much fluff. Like, just say the thing. Lord Jesus, we come here today, all of us today, on this beautiful day that we thank the Lord for this weather. We thank the Lord for us all being here together. And what we actually want to do, Lord, please lead Lord Jesus in heaven, is something that is near and dear to my heart. What we really, really want to do, Lord, in your name, I pray. Like, what? Say the thing, bro! Jesus!
With 125,000 people.
Do you ever use your private jets to go visit your vacation homes, for example?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Again, getting back to the comment. You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood.
The smile! The smile! One more time.
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Don't you ever say I did. God commands you, woman. God commands you to listen to what the man says. Okay? Don't you ever say that again. And look at the smile. Look at the anger. And how quickly.
We wrestle not
Smile.
with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Can you explain what you
So basically, he's talking about how, he's given some bullshit. The real answer is that if you're going to be flying all over the world, then they don't make flights that are going to go here, here, and there. And then so there is a reason for people who do that kind of work to have private accommodations. That's perfectly reasonable. Just say that. Just say that. Yeah, definitely a creepy moment. Indie Film said, I honestly have no problem with this dude making all the money he wants. People are sending it to him. I mean, fair enough, but if your parents were giving all the money that they had to him because they believed in something that he was saying, you might have a little bit more of a problem with that. Melton Mimita said, kind of agree with him. If I can get a private, I could get a private jet, I would too. Yeah, but again, it's his own followers who are donating money to him because he says that the Lord tells them that they have to. And he's not using that to build churches. He's using that to fly, to buy a plane and fly private, which again has some practicality to it. But that is not at all how he handled it. Yeah, I mean, just all that BS. M169 said, beware the when a preacher gets going. They'll be speaking in a between all their words. And you don't know what I feel in my heart. Looks could kill. Exactly. Hey, shout out to Xander Crew. Welcome to the party. So it sounds like a ton of politicians speaking. Politicians are downstream of religious preachers. Well said, sir. Well said. You said that was good. You're in the wrong line, Lech. Hey, I told you guys, I spent 20 years in the church. This stuff isn't new to me. I'm not an outsider. I mean, I am now, but trying to strike her down. Exactly. I mean, yeah, all right. So we were going, the point of that.
Debate.
That's crazy. That haircut is
good.
Taking if they clap.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Jesus watching you.
Right.
Look at that
He looks
guy.
a little bit like Kenneth Copeland.
Dude,
Look, the
and
furthest
face
picture to the right.
Yeah.
No, not that
Not
one.
that one. The middle one right there. The one to the right there. That one. He
Oh
looks
my God.
He looks like
That's the devil.
Asa Hitchens.
Genius is
Oh
watching
my
you.
God.
By the way, Tim Scott,
I love him.
respect.
I like the guy.
I'm
I
going to
love him.
say what Steven Crowder and Nick Paula were saying. It's like, Black people are known for having like some swag, some energy, some vibe. It's kind of your thing.
He couldn't
You know?
If I could, trust me, if I could afford a private jet, I sure as fuck would not. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, eventually that's the goal. But yeah, I've made enough for some pajamas, but not private flights.
It's like how us Jewish people are known for like, hey, telling jokes, being
Yeah, like
complainers. We get it.
Yeah.
Assyrians are known for being angry. We get it, But
I never heard that before.
I thought that's or Armenians. I apologize. Armenians.
Lebanon, Turkish.
I apologize to our.
What if he was like, get to the point, Adam? Punch him in the face.
Dude, Tim Scott, you got no swag whatsoever. Like, give me a little bit, bro.
That's what I said.
I was actually very disappointed in Tim Scott. I thought he was gonna have something.
Can I give some thoughts on DeSantis?
Yeah.
Please do,
to
sir.
me, DeSantis, if you looked at how he did, again, alliances, you watch for alliances. Who was shaking whose hand? There was one moment where him and Vivek shook hands. It was uncomfortable looking at DeSantis. I was shaking hands with Vivek. Vivek was right in the middle of the debate when he came up to him. But Chris Christie and DeSantis talked the entire time. Every break, Chris Christie and DeSantis were right next to each other.
Really?
Anybody surprised by that? Anybody surprised by that? Trump's biggest hater and the supposed frontrunner who is just dropping the ball at every possible opportunity. I mean, do worse, bro. Do worse. Zig said Scott had a brief moment where he sounded like MLK. Okay. And 169 says not at all. I don't remember that one, but fair enough. Unwanted Foe said Christie going for VP under DeSantis. Yep. You're right. Nail on the head. That's where it is. Daniel said, I'm surprised Christie didn't eat him. Ayush said, nope, Christie is Vivek's attack dog for DeSantis. He's his attack dog for DeSantis. In what way? How do you mean? I think I might agree with you, but I'm not sure yet. So tell me a little more.
Spring
Oh,
talking.
big time.
Yeah,
DeSantis and Christie.
I mean, constantly,
The whole
not
time.
like once or twice or three times. Constantly, they were talking to each other. And
alliance
DeSantis,
right there.
DeSantis was the only one that was coming out to
make up and
be fair with him. He was the only guy that would come up and would wave at the audience, his camp that was sitting on that one side. Yeah, he was constantly talking the entire time. Okay, so I watched. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting alliance. Why would that be an interesting alliance? Here's why. How many times did you hear DeSantis take shots at Trump? None.
Yeah.
The only shot that he took was super indirect, was about Fauci. First thing I was like, you're fired, right? And okay, that's great. But if we were to count how many times he used the word Trump, I don't know if he ever used it. I'm telling you.
DeSantis did not.
I
really
don't know if
talk about
DeSantis
Trump.
said the word Trump one time.
I think that would be a good thing, no? You like the last thing you want to do is bring more attention to the guy who's drawing away literally millions of viewers from your face. So I'm not sure if he's saying it's a good thing or a bad thing.
However, his mouthpiece did, and that's Christie.
Ah.
So whatever DeSantis wanted to say to Trump, my opinion, I could be wrong. Anything DeSantis wanted to say to Trump, Christie said it, not DeSantis. So whatever Christie said,
good call,
is what DeSantis really wanted to say. You know, again, my thoughts, my opinion, I could be wrong. And DeSantis, for me, he went up there, and it was obvious that he had certain points to give, which he made his points. He gave his speech, the closing speech. You could tell he said that speech multiple times, and it was great. Some people said he came across a little bit angry. Do you have the New York Post article that gave?
Ayush says Vivek is garnering the non-MAGA voters, which is undercutting DeSantis. DeSantis can't do the attacking to Vivek because he sucks at it. Yep. I knew I agree with you. I just needed to hear it. There you go.
Feedback on every single person. What they were saying. The audience said DeSantis looked angry. Now, for me, I don't mind it.
DeSantis angry? I thought they were talking about Vivek, and still I was confused. But DeSantis didn't seem angry. I thought he seemed a little bit more fired up. But angry is not the word that I would use at all. If anything, it was like, because in general he was subdued and like we said, robotic. I guess he's just an angry robot. Xander Cruz says, after the mugshot, I honestly don't think anyone else can snatch the public support away from Trump. Plus, anyone who gains popularity from the right will be destroyed by the left in the same way. I agree, man. I agree. And the way that, I said earlier, the way that you take that and turn it into, oh, this is my return to Twitter. Like, I mean, you can't write a better story than that. Wantifo said Christie sucks at it too, but at least he doesn't make DeSantis look bad because he's not the one talking. Yeah, I mean, but we have to admit Christie had some good lines in there. He did have some good lines in there. Mountain Mind Media said Ron felt alive at the debate. He just didn't talk enough. Yeah, I felt like he was more of what we wanted, but just not enough. Like, it's still like, give us more. Give me something to grab onto. Give me something to say, okay, you're not going to let us down. All right, great. I mean, that's not enough. David Banner said Trump's mugshot is an album cover. If he drops a hit single, he is back on top. He's already back on top, brother.
That doesn't do anything for me. Like, oh my God, he came back this. Here's a body language expert dissects Republican debate with surprising insights. Can you go a little bit lower to kind of see what he's saying? Okay, angry DeSantis is what he called it. Go to the next one. Zoom in a little bit left. DeSantis also failed to smile, Navarro said. Okay, keep going.
Except for at the very end when he gave that little goofy smile.
Keep going. Comfortable, Ramaswamy. I thought he looked very comfortable on stage. Haley's strong will, absolutely. Haley, when she went after the abortion, the women, the way she broke down the woman and abortion. Listen, whether you and I as men care anything about that, you see numbers that 67% were against what happened with Supreme Court, and I kind of hurt the red wave that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, but she's not in her prime, right, Don Lemon? She's not in her prime.
What? Abortion is very, very important for women. She won there, and she kind of called out Vivek in the, the foreign. You're not ready to be a president because you don't have experience in foreign affairs. Okay, cool. Go to the next one. Let's see what else they say. Friendly Hutchinson, great. Burgum Prop, keep going. What is it? Church Pastor Scott.
He already did Lose Yourself. I think he said he had like a whole, like he used to do that kind of stuff all the time.
Okay, makes sense.
There you go, Tom McDonald.
What is it? Subdued Pence. I don't know about that. He had a 5-second pause every time he was given an answer. Dude, you got 60 seconds. You're taking 5 seconds to respond. Keep going. Who else you got? Who else you got at the bottom? Confident Christie. Okay, cool. Fair. I would give that. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And then Trump card. Okay. So for me, when I watched DeSantis, this is what I thought about. There was a fighter in UFC. His name was Tyron Woodley. Okay.
Oh, Tyron Woodley. Oh, God. Oh, this is going to be, oh, man. I don't even know who's going to talk about, but if you know who Tyron Woodley is, it's not going to be nice to whoever he's talking about. I Am That I Am said clearly too many qualified Indians running for president. Vivek was amazing. I agree. Yeah, we haven't had this many. I mean, 2 is a lot, right? David Banner said DeSantis looked neutered to me. And again, agreed. It is that lack of balls. That's what it is. He just doesn't have the oomph behind what he's saying for it to mean anything to anybody. Xander Cruz says if Vivek is not a World Economic Forum Illuminati puppet, he is by far the best speaker and representative of actual conservatism on the stage. Let's hope. Let's hope. Because like that's what Van and I were talking about when I was on LFR Families, that we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like everything the guy says, I love every word of it. There's got to be something. There's got to be something. There's got to be something. It's not Tyrone, it's Tyron. Tyron Woodley. But Tyrone Woodley does sound like a porn name. And Vivek definitely is a better speaker than Trump. Absolutely. Unquestionably. Trump is not a good speaker. Trump is just good at being Trump. Trump is a terrible orator. I did the best things and the best, nobody does the best. And he wanders off on this little thing. He's not a good speaker. But the character that he is big enough to overcome the fact that he is not a good speaker. Dave Banner disagrees, said Vivek is on his lane, but Trump is the daddy to all Republican stooges. And that's different. That's different than saying he's a better speaker. I agree with both these statements, but they're 2 different things. I Am That I Am said Vivek is a 38-year-old self-made billionaire, actually 950 million. I'm sold. Yeah. I mean, makes sense to me.
And when he was coming up at one point, people thought he was going to be Dana White's guy. And I don't know if you remember the falling out between him and Dana. A big falling out between him and Dana. This guy, good-looking guy, incredible body, incredible wrestler.
He got knocked
fighter,
out by
punching. He got by the way, every single way. This guy in UFC was the guy. Yep. What does he start doing? He starts undermining Dana White publicly.
Mm-hmm. He went to Woodley went to a press conference, and if not his last fight, one of his last fights in the UFC, went to the press conference and didn't take off his glasses, had a hat on or whatever, and he just sat there. And every time a reporter would ask a question, he would just say, "Black Lives Matter." You're like, okay, well, you're fighting, let's say it was Colby Covington. And what do you think about his ground game? Black Lives Matter. And he just did that the whole thing. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? And just a lot of stuff that, making more trouble than for himself than he needed to. Yeah, he's that guy.
Starts complaining about Dana White publicly. No problem. So you know what he does? Then Dana gives him a main fight. He fights. I don't know who he fights. Afterwards, they're asking Dana, so what'd you think about the fight? He said, what did I think about the fight? What did you think about the fight?
This is a good question. Trump is going to be a Trump. Are we looking for a president or are we looking for a Trump? I don't know. We might just be looking for a Trump. At least right now. I think we're just looking for a Trump.
The guy's like, I don't know. He says, listen, audience was booing. You mean you just want to come and win a championship with points? This is how you want to win? This will be the last time we'll give him a card like this and da-da-da. Guess what?
Yep.
Woodley disappeared, gone, right? Because he just came to win with points. I think DeSantis came yesterday to win with points. And he hit his points. He got his points knocked out of the...
Okay, but... I thought you were saying something else. So yeah, I am saying Woodley made it to the Cobra Kai series. I think it was Usman that won his belt by beating him 5 out of 5 rounds. Yeah. He took the words right out of my mouth because he was dominant before he wasn't. And then he just dropped the ball and he got, all... He is shaking. What, is it raining? I don't get it. I don't understand why Morty just gets terrified. Anyway, yeah, what I thought you were going to say is Usman never did that. And I was going to be like, hey, don't forget that Usman's in Black Panther too. But that's not where you're going. But yeah, demolished and just took his soul.
Away. Do I think he went above and beyond what people were expecting him to do? I don't know if I can say that on what he did. I think Nikki Haley, she was last on my list. She came up and she showed up. Okay. And she brought talking points that others weren't bringing up. So she brought up talking points where she forced us to talk about that. I thought Vivek, when he...
Oh, yeah, I wasn't saying you were joking. I definitely... I binged the fuck out of that show. I love Cobra Kai. That's why I thought you were... I was ready to disagree because I thought you were going to say that, Willie was in Cobra Kai, but Usman never got on TV, but that's not where you were going, so... no. Excuse me. I am not getting up at 5 a.m. and I have a client early. So no, I will be missing the entire card. And I'm going to be coming home and maybe check your computers, notifications, phones, whatever you watch on, because I might be online.
He got up and he said, I'm the only person on stage that can say the fact that I haven't taken any money from Super PAC. Okay. Wait. Hey, I know what you're thinking right now. What would a skinny kid from a name okay. That was when Chris Christie called him out very quickly. He sounded like Obama, exactly. And all this other stuff. But Vivek made you think. He sold a dream. He sold America. He sold the future. He sold what's going on. He sold, where we are as a company. You didn't see any of that with, DeSantis. It was a lot.
Yeah. Sanders says Vivek putting his views out unapologetically opens the way for us. Being a minority helps shield him from the left crying racist. It inspires me as a Latino to use my race as a shield to the left one day. Yeah, I mean, use it if you got it. We never wanted to play this identity politics game, but they threw down the gauntlet. So don't come at me. I'm not white. Not my problem. White supremacy, I can brush that shit right off. Come and talk to me about white supremacy all goddamn day. Because I don't care. And I'm not white, so I win. It's Morty the Cowardly Dog. Yep. I mean, and you guys who were here before the summer, I used to have a chair for him right here. I used to have a chair for him and a bed right here. And he would just sit there the whole time. And whenever we get a super chat, I would just hand over the tree and he'd love it. I don't know what happened. Ayush says people are holding his policies they agree to against him because they don't believe he means any of them. Ooh. They're holding his policies that they agree to. They're holding him against him because they don't believe that he means it. Well, I mean, fair enough. He's, you got to win the people over. That's what it's all about. True. He's not cowardly. It's a lack of food. That would work if I didn't already try to feed him and he wouldn't eat it. Let's see. What? Eat it. Yep. Nope. Still doesn't want it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't pay me because I'm poor. He's camper shy. Xander said, right. Using race as a shield is beneath me, but it does work and the left is not honorable. So we got to use their tactics against them. It is the only way. Absolutely. Absolutely well said. This idea of taking the higher ground and being honorable, if that would have worked, then we never would have gotten Trump. Think about that. If that had worked, we never would have gotten Trump. But we did. So what does that tell you? You can't play clean. Ayush said, he's saying all the right things. He's too good to be true. It's like an abused puppy. when met with a kind human. They just distrust him. The voters have been abused by politicians that to them Vivek sounds sus. That's fair. That's fair. It's sad, assuming that he is, legit. It is sad that that's the case, but hopefully, with enough time, again, that soundbite territory is not really for him. The fact that he's been going around everywhere and doing everybody's podcast is good for him. He's just out there. He's out there. You can hear him. He's talking at length about his policies and why he thinks what he thinks, and getting into that's what he needs to be doing. Not on the debate stage, but while this is all going on. None of the other candidates are going on these podcasts. I think it's paying dividends. He's on hunger. Morty's on a hunger protest against Biden. Yeah. And exactly, the high road hasn't worked. So you either play the game or you lose. I am that I am said, why is it that when I see Vivek, I see a qualified candidate and not a dark-skinned guy? Because you are, I don't know, I was going to try to make some type of reverse racist joke, but it didn't come to me. That's because you're not a liberal person who looks at race and nothing else. Pretty simply. Xander says, Obama said all the right things too, and he was a monster in sheep's clothing. Used his race to further himself along and sold all of America out. Vivek feels familiar because Obama fucks us all over. Well said. Well said, sir.
A lot of he hit his point, he hit his point, he hit his point, and he hit his point, and he hit his point. So if there's a job to say, I want you to go there, say this, make these 4 points and get out, guess what? He did it. But you need more than that to go against a guy named Trump or even a guy named Vivek. So
facts.
I don't know if I saw DeSantis coming out the gates the way I was hoping for him to come. That's why I gave him a neutral, it's not a plus, not a minus, not.
And that's exactly what I was saying, is that he didn't mess up. He just didn't do anything. All of the things that he said, we already knew that he thought that. So you need to add to the lore of DeSantis, especially when so far the lore is a failed Twitter space and a stupid ad attacking Trump with fake images. You got to do better.
Not a winner, not a loser. He just came to do his job and he went home.
So you don't think he connected? Remember when you talked about him connecting, Pat? And we were live.
He was the only guy that wouldn't look at the camera. He was looking at Brett Baer the entire time. Rule number one, Brett Baer doesn't matter. He's not your vote. It's the camera. Look at the camera.
DeSantis was?
DeSantis was only looking at Brett Baer. I'm like, look at the camera. And you know who Vivek was looking at? Straight at the camera.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, which one's our camera, Rob, by the way, for the audience? Can you tell me which one's the camera?
Your solo, Pat?
Is it this one or this one in the middle?
I think
which
your solo was the middle one.
Okay. So imagine if this is my solo, that one.
That's solo.
Look at the difference of me looking at you right now. If you're watching this, just look at my eyes real quick. Are we not making a connection right now? If that's the camera, if I'm looking at the right camera, I don't know if I'm or not.
Yeah.
I'm connected, baby. Give me more.
If I am, we're making a connection. Now watch this. If I look here. So, so that's what you got to do. And you're like, hey, talk to me. You're not talking to me.
I actually want to bring that up with you guys because I am, that's a conscious thing that I work on. And, because I don't typically look at this angle when I'm talking, like this is straight to me. And this is, right here is where I'm pointing at my own face. So, I naturally am drawn to watching myself, and then I'll typically watch the video here instead of watching the video up there. Do you guys, is that something that you guys notice? What I try to do is, instead of just stare at you guys the whole time, is what I'll try to do is, use that for effect. And like, I realize now I'm looking down because I'm thinking about something, but then I'll come like, do you guys notice that kind of stuff or not really? Oh my goodness. We got a new sponsor of the stream. Let's try to feed him. Hey, he ate it. He ate it. Oh, he got it. There we go. He got it. Xander with the $10 super chat got Morty to eat, overcame his fear of Biden. Thank you so much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so much, brother. That is very, very, very much appreciated. And thanks to you, now we get to see Vivek's closing remarks after this as well. See, guys, we all work together to keep the party rolling. Thank you, Xander crew.
Just, again, basic elementary stuff that when it comes down to marketing, connecting, storytelling that you got to do. And Vivek hit that. Vivek hit the mark.
Listen here, America.
Yeah. Hey,
America. I want to have a moment in time with you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you
This
what.
it's a new day in America right now. This is probably the most important election of our lifetime. We understand that, right? No, you're absolutely right. It's,
Yeah.
you got to address the audience. You got to talk to the audience. You can't. Vivek is the only person up there who has that Trump quality. That, yo, bro, I'm just shooting from the hip here. The only difference is, well, how many people came after specifically Vivek? Let me back
Everybody,
up.
right
All
off
of
the
them.
bat.
Okay.
All of them.
Chris Christie hit him with the
Yeah.
Chat GPT
Yeah.
line. He's like, listen, I don't need Chat GPT from India over here giving his thing. Mike Pence said, listen, we don't need on-the-job training.
Yep.
I need to be in there day one. Nikki Haley,
went
they
after
were
him,
going
yep.
at it. She's
By the way,
like,
the on-the-job training was funny. And
Yeah.
then when he said, we don't want him too old,
yeah,
and we don't
need
want
him
him
too young.
And then did you hear what Vivek said? He says, listen, folks, this ain't that complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're making it seem like it's a complicated job.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley went after him on foreign policy,
Yeah,
she was
Ukraine,
amazing.
She
Israel,
did.
what have you. But it just goes to show every single one of them was like, all right, I got to go against the guy who's beating me in the polls right now, and that is Vivek.
Vivek all day. Daniel says we backed him because of COVID policies and his parental rights and education bill. Other than that, DeSantis, he's not showing us fire. He's not showing his heart. He is showing complacency. Exactly right. Great word, complacency. Because exactly, if he loses, he's already sitting pretty as governor of Florida, which people love him there. So you can tell. You can tell that he doesn't feel that fire under his ass like the rest of them. Well said, sir. Well, sir. Most of my needs to get that AI that makes you stare at the webcam. Have you guys seen that? That shit is weird. I could be like that, and it will like make my eyes stick at the. That is weird. No, done. On to post said, put a cutout of Morty's face around your webcam so you're more inclined to look at us. Don't think that's gonna work, but I'll give it a try. You said, do what's natural. If you try to change consciously, you'll fall. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I do a little bit. I don't make too much of a big deal about it. Like, right now, I was just looking, and then I'll look off the talking one. I'm not like too hung up on it. I was just wondering if you guys noticed it, because I do think it is important to to look in a camera and say things to you guys. I'm talking to you. I'm not just talking to, like, yes, there's other people that are going to see this, but I'm talking to Ayush. I'm talking to Melted My Media. I'm talking to Unwanted Foe. I'm talking to Daniel. I'm talking to you guys. And so it's very much a part of the responsibilities of making sure that everybody feels engaged. And so thank you guys. I appreciate that. M169 said, I think you engaged with the camera in the chat in a very balanced way. Yay for me. Yay for me. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Xander says, Vivek gaining support is further proof America is not racist. Nowhere near where the rest of the world is. There are countries that wouldn't even look at a darker skinned Indian guy, no matter what.
Bingo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nick says, you're good, bro. I'm already starting to think, can he see me? Is my camera on somehow? Okay. That's what I want. That's what I want. Nick, put that away. No, not that one. There you go. Yeah. Melvin Miami said, you're talking to yourself in your house and we are not real. The dead internet theory. I mean, hey, as long as the super chats are real, I don't give a fuck. No, I'm just kidding. I really, really, really do need you guys to be here and continue spreading this message, because as much as I love a $10 super chat, as much as I appreciate a $10 super chat, we have got way, 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 way bigger goals to accomplish.
None of them went after DeSantis. How many people went after DeSantis last night? I don't remember one. Do you?
No, everybody was.
How many people were like, Ron, you should have stayed governor of Florida, wait your turn,
Well,
MAGA?
Vivek did. Vivek, when he went like this or he went like this.
There you go, Vivek.
Is the only one that went after DeSantis.
And who did Vivek go after? The only one that he went after was the guy that's a little bit above him, DeSantis. It's called punching up.
Yep.
This is why Trump doesn't have to show up. He's not going to punch down
Exactly.
to Asa Hutchinson or to Tim Scott, or whoever loser
Who the
is
fuck
polling
is
at
that
1%
guy?
or 2%.
You know who took a
in
shot?
the polls?
You know who took a shot at Trump though? That
Who?
wasn't on the panel. Brett Baer. When he goes, let's address the elephant that's not in the room. everybody
And he
was
wasn't talking about Chris Christie, right?
and he wasn't talking about
Yeah.
Chris Christie, who was right in front
But
of him.
it's the true
That's
elephant.
the real elephant
it was
in the
a
room.
good one that Kelly brought up. Shout out to Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly, shout out, baby.
All right, shout out to Kelly. So, since you guys have been so generous, we are going to keep it rolling. And this is just a short 1-minute thing, but this is the closing speech from our boy, Vivek Ramaswamy. Let me know what you guys think.
Mr. Ramaswamy.
I was born in 1985, and I grew up into a generation where we were taught to celebrate our diversity and our differences so much that we forgot all of the ways we are really just the same as Americans, bound by a common set of ideals that set this nation into motion in 1776.
Kind of feels like what I've been saying for the last year, but this is about me.
And this is our moment to revive those common ideals. God is real. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border.
Nope.
Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest
Let's
form
go.
of governance known to man. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution, it is the strongest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what will win us the revolution of 2024. Thank you for letting me introduce myself.
All right.
I mean, how can you not like that? How can you not like that? As Nick is saying here, the more I see of Vivek, the more I like him. The more you see of him, the more you like of him. And remember how unbothered so many people are with with politics in general. There's a lot of people who still don't know who Vivek is. Ayush says the 10 Commandments of Vivek. I see what you did there. And but yeah, there's still a whole swath of people who don't even know who this guy is, even if they, certainly not his name. Certainly not his name. The people who first found out about him, not last, but on Wednesday, they probably don't remember his name. What percentage of the country do you think knows Vivek's full name? Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't even know if he has a middle name, but just his first and last name. Not that many. But that's going to change. And I think a lot of people are going to be exactly like this, like us, and think exactly like this. Well, hey, I didn't really know about this guy, but the more I hear, the more I like it. Alti says 15%. Daniel says 2%. Ayush says 20. I'm kind of with M169. I think 12 is a good number. Okay, so Static Craig says where I disagree with Vivek is weaning off of fossil fuels is probably good, but there's but it's a lot more complicated than just turning off the tap. Also, I don't think God is real. I mean, shit, I'm right there too with you on God. But I don't necessarily think that he's saying it is uncomplicated. I think he's saying that the notion that we have to wean off fossil fuels in favor of things like nuclear is common sense and practical and those things. I don't know that he's saying it's so simple. We just have to do. I think he's saying it's simple to see that we need to wean off fossil fuels. Now, that could just be my bias trying to cope for him. I could be wrong. But that's all you got. I mean, sounds like a short list of things that go wrong. So I am the man says I know him now. So was the debate the first time you heard of him? Nick says I wonder if he can pull in some Democrats. I bet under 10%. I don't know. I don't think so. Not with climate change agenda is a hoax. I don't think so. Xander said, I love him a lot. I love him so far a lot. I'm weary, but hopeful more and more of his kind or our kind will start to speak up. Hell, he's making me want to put my neck out there, and I respect him tons so far. That's the key. So far. That's all right. That's why we're talking about all this now, because if tomorrow we found out Oh, he's got a bunch of skeletons in his closet. Oh, he's a lying piece of shit about this, that, and the other. Then we have no guilt in saying like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I'm backing off. Fuck that guy. I didn't know that information. We're learning all this as we go. And that's you have to be diligent. And most people aren't. And so that's what we're doing. We're being at least one step better than the average person who's just not paying attention. And so I was just saying that he's not saying to turn off fossil fuels. And okay, so cool. And yeah, M169 said I never heard him say just turn off the tap. So sounds like he's perfect. Yay, Vivek for president. Xander says to Nick, let's just tell the Democrats it's racist to not vote for the Indian guy. There you go. That's the winner. You won't vote for him? What a racist. You're a racist.
How dare you?
Melton My Media said Timcast was probably the first time hearing about him. Same when he was on Culture War. Yeah, I was like, who is this guy? And I didn't even watch it right away. It wasn't until I heard his name other places, and I was like, wait, wasn't that guy on Timcast? And then I watched. So I mean, he's new on the scene, and we're the people who are in the weeds with this stuff. So I mean, he's doing well, but it almost seems like not quite, but it's almost like he only has up to go from here because people don't know who he is. You said he can turn Dems. He needs to keep going into their territory. Remember, this guy exposed Don Lemon. Yep, absolutely. If he keeps going in and exactly, that is exactly the type of situation where everything is racism, bigotry, white supremacy. Like that ain't him. He's not a white guy. Nick says that's probably right because he's not full of it, so the left won't buy it. That's the problem. And then, yep, M169, that's exactly what we're talking about before with using the race card. We got to use their rules against them. Melton My Media said one of Vivek's 10 things is needing less fossil fuels. But again, the quote here from Static Craig is a lot more complicated than turning off the tap. And I don't think that, correct me, Stat, I don't think you're saying that Vivek said the words just turning off the tap. I think that if I'm understanding correctly, that's your interpretation of what he's been saying. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing, especially when you talk about bipartisanship. It's just the notion of how are we approaching this. I am asked, will being Hindu hurt him?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And I agree, Ayush. Probably the biggest hurdle for him. The fact that he that's why he has to say, start his closing thing with everything that he's rattling off. God is real. Is he? I don't think so, but shouldn't matter. But that's a whole other conversation now, isn't it? Daniel says his conversation with Don Lemon is where I first heard of him. Yep, he's like I said, being all over the place has really, 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 really helped his brand, and it's only going to keep going up. It's only going to keep going up. Static Crack says I realize my mistake now. I was trying to say I don't think keeping fossil fuels forever is ideal. I think weaning off is ideal. Oh, well then, yeah, he's with you. All right, there we go. Vivek, let's go. Oh my goodness. We got another one. Let's see if he'll eat another one. Here, more. Eat it up. Xander's got the magic touch, baby. He's got the magic touch. What does he say? Xander says the civil culture war is heating up, and it's nice to see the right finally stepping up. I truly see the tide turning to our benefit. I do too. Xander goes and say, now we got to stop the left from weaponizing the law. Truth wins. Well said, sir. Well said. And this is what exactly. This is what I've been saying, guys. That starting with the Dylan Mulvaney stuff and the Bud Light stuff and all that, the unraveling of the just the strength of the woke ideology. It's just like a sweater, one little thread and you start pulling on it and unravels the entire thing. Their ideology is a house of cards. And all we need to do is expose that. And finally, as Xander is saying, finally, that is happening. That is finally happening. But that does not mean the war is won. That means that we're finally just in the game. So only now are we starting. So now we need to begin actually rhetorically fighting. And Ayush says, depend on your definition of God. And therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem. If I don't know what you mean when you say a word, then it's not a good word to use. Stat says, Vivek said fossil fuels is prosperity, but I feel like it is short term. Okay, fair enough. I'm169 says that to I Am That I Am, it will be in the Bible Belt. Yep, he went to Tennessee to push for the Shooter Manifesto release. I would love to see that. But absolutely, being Hindu is a huge hurdle for him. If he can make the, just the general God thing work, then I think it'll, be reasonable. But that being said, the left is so, in the eyes of a religious person, so godless that I have a feeling that a lot of them will say, hey, this God is better than no God. That's what I would think if I was, on of that mind. So Daniel says to Xander, they're not weaponizing the law, they're weaponizing ideology and using that to change the law. Well, that's kind of the same thing, isn't it? That's weaponizing. Weaponizing ideology and using that to change the law is what I would call weaponizing the law. But 6 of one, half a dozen the other, right? And 169 said I heard more than one person ask him if he's a Christian. Yep. Hindu. He's Hindu. And Xander Cruz says the right is learning to use the internet, social media, Twitter, YouTube to win the culture. The left is learning to use the law to win and silence enemies. And unfortunately, they are doing really, really, really well with that. Because they don't have any values, it's too easy for them to come together and agree on the next plan of action. It's like, oh, that's what we're doing? All right, we're all for the new thing now. That's a huge benefit of their ideology, of the lackluster ideology that they have, is that there doesn't need to be anything behind it for us to be like, okay, we care about this now. They'll just, it is what it is. All right, now we care about this, and we're gonna, tell you you're a bigot and say that you should die if you don't agree with us. Ayush says Vivek is perfect because the attack for right by left has been the right are pushing a biblical theocracy, which they can't peddle with him. Exactly. M169 said he answered honestly that he wasn't, but he believes in God. The crowd didn't seem to like it. Daniel said it, not me. Daniel said it, not me. Well, just for out of respect, let me fix this banner and say a big thank you to the sponsor of the stream. Big shout out to Zippy to Strange for bypassing YouTube and sending that $5 PayPal. Thank you. Unwanted Foe. Puppy breaks are much needed. We also had Melted Mind Media. Didn't quite get on the lead attorney, but we will see him there shortly, I am sure. Another one from Melted Mind Media said buy Ron Heels when he's already got them. And of course, the sponsor of the stream, Xander Cruz. Thank you so much, all of you guys. And of course, even if you cannot give money to the show, I completely understand that. YouTube is here, it's free. All I ask is that you like the video, you share the video, subscribe to the channel, do all the stuff that doesn't cost any money. It costs me a lot to be here and do this, and I want to, because I don't think that anybody else is going to have the balls and the answers to fix political discourse in this country. I do. I will. And like I said when I was on Timcast, I might not have all of the answers perfectly, worked out right now, but I do have the answers. And if I continue to get in front of the people who matter, who can tell me what's wrong with it, who understand the landscape even better than any of us do, then we will continue to grow. We will continue to get there, and we will fix this country. We can do it, guys. But I can't do it by myself. So thank you so much. I love you too, brother. Vivek says, Xander says, Vivek can't be silenced by race or religion or age. He's neither white nor Christian nor a boomer. Let's see how else they'll try to bring him down. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They're going to try, but I am hoping it does not work because he's the most promising thing that I've seen in the culture war since I understood that there was such a thing as a culture war. So again, I want to thank you guys so much. You have no idea how much it means to me. And, to see us really starting to grow, starting to get new people, that it warms my heart, guys. And I really, really, really do appreciate it. And, as promised, like I said, we usually only go 2.5 hours, but when you guys come through for me, I want to come through for you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed this. Once again, this has been Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.